Am I live? Should be. Still getting used to this StreamYard thing. Yep, I'm live. Let's go. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Hold on. Let me move chat. Wait, hold on. Chat shows up here, but chat can also show up there. Why can't I open multiple of these things at once? There's so much extra space on this StreamYard dashboard. I feel like I should be able to open comments and banners at the same time instead of having to open them separately all the time, or like comments and chat should be its own thing and then banners and everything else should be a thing. I don't know. Seems weird to me. Let me post. I gotta post. I started too early, damn it. I totally forgot I have to do some stuff. Wait, where did, oh man, hold on. I gotta redo this again. Freak. Come chat. I had this all prepped and ready to go, and now I gotta do it again. Let's see. And then this, I don't think I had anything else that was copied. Autofill. No. All right, hold on. Hold your horses. Hey, is it this? Am I still live? I think I'm still live, right? Shorts. Oh, wait, no, this. Okay, and then this. Nope, that ain't it. This. Nope. What the hell? How do I share this? Oh, nope. Oh, YouTube. Why you? Oh, wait, hold on. Share. There we go. Found it. Add link. This. YouTube. Done. Holy moly, guys. Nobody's here. We're fine. Point. There. Boom. All right. Good to go. Yo, what's up, Drew? How's it going? Welcome. I totally forgot to prep any of this stuff. Live right now. Call-in show talking about stuff. Very descriptive. Boom. Okay. What's going on? How's it going? I had to post in different places, but we should be ready to go. So tonight, call-in show, sort of. We're gonna do it a little bit differently than we did last time. I do have some announcements before I start bringing people in, if people want to come and hang out. But I figure I'll bring people maybe one-on-one for like the first hour and talk about the topic for tonight, which I'll go over here in a second. And then maybe the last hour, I'll just bring anyone on who wants to come on and just chat like we did last time, like a big group thing. I don't know if anyone will want to come on tonight. We'll have to see. I'm hoping to do this like every other week. So every other Wednesday, I think, is kind of what I'm shooting for. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then on the other Wednesday, I'll do like a personal, like solo stream or whatever. But I wanted to do this fairly regularly, but not too regularly that it's just like every week or something like that. So there's that. And then the other announcements. So tentatively, what's up, Maki? How's it going? Tentatively, we will be doing the next trivia night on the 27th of July. That's tentatively. I've got both people have agreed to that date. So hopefully that will be good to go. We won't have to reschedule or anything. The 27th, probably at 8 or 9 p.m., like I normally stream. will be the next trivia night. And the two guys that have accepted to come on for trivia night are Beerski and Professor Oak himself. So it will be Professor Oak versus Beerski, 1v1 on the next trivia night, which will be really cool. I'm excited about that. And I'm trying to think of the games. I think there's only one game that's going to be brought over from maybe the first week that we did it. So I'm excited about that. Beerski and Oak are two amazing human beings. Hopefully I'll meet Oak someday. I got to meet Beerski. He was a great guy. So I'm excited to have them both on. It should be fun. Should be a fun showdown. Looking forward to that. The 27th of July. So the 27th is the weekend right in between Jersey and Charlotte. So Collecticon, literally, Jersey and Charlotte are literally like 1 week apart, or 2 weeks apart, I guess, which is crazy. I also booked my flights for Chicago this morning. Pretty early on that. I'm a few months early, but I like to get that shit just done out of the way and not have to worry about it. Just get it paid for and get the flights that I want at the times that I want to make sure I'm not missing so much work time. So that should be good. So I'll be in Chicago Collecticon, which is like the 13th and 14th or something like that, or something like that. So I'll be flying in that Friday, leaving on Monday. Nice long weekend. So that's going to be really fun. There's going to be a ton of people at Chicago, so I'm pretty excited about that one. Charlotte and Chicago both should have a ton of awesome people, so I'm looking forward to that. Next, well, what was the other thing? So I didn't really have a video topic for this coming week. I was kind of scrambling to like, what am I going to make a video about? And then something happened that is going to make it really easy to make a video for next week. I got scammed up by E again. Yay. That's awesome, right? I won't go into too much detail because I'm obviously going to make a video about it, but it just keeps getting worse and worse, man. It's like I feel like in some of my other scam videos, it's like I did something stupid, like I bought fake cards or I, did X, Y, or Z. In this situation, I did nothing wrong. And I actually purchased like the inspection and insurance plans, and I still got screwed on something that it literally says on their website that the inspection plan covers is exactly what I'm being screwed on, and they're not going to give me a refund. So yeah, amazing. Really, really excited to make that video. Luckily it's not like crazy amount of money, but obviously it sucks to lose money for stupid reasons anyway. So what up, Hoodoo? How's it going? Welcome. Hope you guys liked my video last week. I made it last week. This week, the one about the top flips. I like doing that one because now that all the editing is like done for the first one, I can just copy and paste all of like the edits and everything onto the new video. So it's pretty awesome to have done all the editing up front, and now I can just package that video in like a really nice way every single time now, which is super awesome. What's up, Shug Nasty? How's it going? Welcome. Just joined, but I already imagine it's a buy-e issue. Yes, it is a buy-e issue. Yeah, I'm gonna make a video about it for this week. It's gonna be great. I saw your new binder. Wait a minute. What new binder? I didn't see anyone's new binder. Sounds cool though. Speaking of new binders, what's up, Boondock? How's it going? Welcome. I got some new binders. I bought a couple of new binders for the new for Collecticon. I literally, what's up, son of a merc? I literally have I'm bringing 4 binders to Collecticon, and I have 4 cases on 2 tables. I don't think that's gonna work. Can someone tell me if that's gonna work? 4 binders and 4 cases on 2 tables. I don't think that's gonna fit. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to maybe sacrifice a case or something to make that work, because it'll work. Really? Are you sure? We'll figure it out. I'm just bringing everything, whatever fits on the table fits on the table. But Yeah, I'm worried about everything fitting because there's going to be a lot of stuff. Does it always feel like a risk because you're mostly ordering from overseas? It depends on what it is, but like for this particular one, yeah, I mean there's always a risk when you buy from Buyee because you're never going to get a refund. So if something did show up wrong, if something did show up fake, if something, you're not getting refunded for that. So there's inherently just more risk when you're buying from a place like Buyee as opposed to a place like eBay. Um, there's just more there's more seller protection on Buyee than there is buyer protection. There's zero buyer protection on Buyee really. And then on eBay, I mean there's a good amount of seller and buyer protection on eBay. They really try and take care of you. So yeah, I mean, you're definitely taking more of a risk, but usually it works out, and ultimately, like when I do get scammed, that amount just kind of gets absorbed into the profits made from the other stuff. So it's really not that bad, but it sucks to lose money. It's more of like a, uh, what is it? It's more of like a principle thing. Like if you're going to allow people to be, um, scammed. Like that just feels wrong, especially if you purchase a plan that should cover certain things and then they don't follow up with that and refunding you or whatever. Um, so, do you know if Buyee still messages the seller to let them know they can scam us for free? I don't know if they ever went that far, but yes, I can confirm that they absolutely do message the seller and ask whether or not it is. Oh, this was weird. So this is a different thing. I'll mention it in the video, but this is not the scam thing. Um, what did I buy? I bought a lot. It was a big lot of ultra rares, and because those sell really good at like the store and stuff, and they were like 30 cents a piece, and usually I can get like $1 to $3 depending on the Pokemon. So I was like, I bought this big lot of ultra rares. It was like 3,000 ultra rares or something like that for like $1,000, and it was uh, it. They reached out to the seller and basically said, "Is it okay if we buy this item?" It's like if you went into the grocery store and grabbed some eggs and went to the closest employee and was like, "Hey, can I buy this?" It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. You're in a grocery store. Everything here is for sale. Like that is what it's for. You buy the thing. So yeah, Buyee was like, "Hey, is it okay if we buy this?" And then the guy didn't answer for like a few days, and then they canceled the transaction. I was like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you just buy it? Why did you cancel the transaction?" And then because it was on a coupon, the guy then responded and said, "Yeah, duh, you can buy it." But then I couldn't buy it with the coupon anymore because they're like, "Oh, well, we canceled it, but we don't really care that you had a coupon. You're just gonna have to wait for the next coupon or go fuck yourself." Like, oh, thanks. Awesome. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, this one didn't have a request. I have seen that before where it's like, please ask us before you purchase, but this one, it didn't have anything in the description or the title where it's like request to buy or whatever. But yeah, I have seen that before. But this one didn't have that. What's up, Paul Father? How's it going, Mister Clutch a Donut guy? Um, I don't did we talk about that last time? I think was it Saturday or Sunday morning? I bought it was like 2 dozen donuts or something at Card Party from Dunkin' because there was a Dunkin' across the street. So I bought 2 dozen donuts and just basically walked around the convention and handed out and gave people donuts. What's up, SDC? How's it going? But yeah, that was really fun. Well, I ended up getting one, but there was like a special card that if you like did something nice for people, you were supposed to get like a little card party promo card. I didn't get one for that, but I ended up getting one later on for I think someone grabbed a bunch of them and handed them out. One of the better artworks, I think, personally, from that event and those cards. Um, let's see what else. Do we have anything else? Each table can hold 2 cases with 2 binders, one above the other, especially if it's the new cases. So tell me about these new cases because they look horrible. If what I saw on somebody's table was the new case, I feel like they look horrible. Um, I feel like the Zion cases are great. Like, why would they do these other cases? And aren't they like really low profile, like basically just plexiglass, like on top of the maybe I saw someone else's cases and thought they were the new ones, but I saw someone else's cases. They were like these really thin, like it's just like a layer of plexi laid across the top. How do you get into it? Do you have to take the plexi like off? No, that's different. Okay. There's still Zion cases. They did because you can stack them into each other. What? You can stack them into each. Why would you want to stack cases? Wouldn't you be covering up cards if you stacked cases? I'm not fully understanding what's happening. If you add up all my bulk, I have $2 million worth of cards. I did hear about that. I hate hearing about theft that happen, especially at these events. It's like, why? But wasn't that a Collecticon though, right? That was at a different thing in like California. Um, could have been a Collecticon, I guess, but I thought it was a California show that somebody stole stuff from. You should have gotten an act of kindness card just for travel storage. They go into each other so Zion can bring more cases. Oh, so are there old ones and new ones? They're just the new ones are smaller so that they can stack in the old ones? Is that what you guys are talking about? Or am I because if they're all the same size, then they wouldn't be able to stack into each other. So are you saying that they bring smaller cases and larger cases and they're able to bring more cases because they're able to fit the new smaller ones into the old other ones? DM me on Discord, Hoodoo. You might not be able to post a link. Oh, they bring both. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Well, that would kind of suck if you got there like late and didn't get the good ones. Um, or didn't get the big ones. Interesting. So it's basically just a plastic tray with plexiglass on top. Okay. All right. It basically just looks like a TSA thing with a little thing of plexi on top. Oversized lunch trays. Yeah, exactly. So they're smaller than the old ones, is what you're saying. All right. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Uh, do they have to be stood up like that? Because I'm thinking like a lot of people like to look at binders, or sometimes if you have less space, you have to like stack a binder on. No. Also, putting them vertical is kind of weird then too. Well, I guess they still open from the. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. Hopefully we get the other cases. But I get what you're saying now, at least for the stackable. They look really shitty though. I don't know. Compared to the old ones where it's like a legit like suitcase looking thing that opens and closes and locks and stuff, like these look really shitty in comparison. But I haven't used them obviously, so who knows. About the extra side risers, they don't offer. Oh, they don't actually give you the side risers when you rent them. I don't think they give you the side glass to hold it up. I think it's overall worse for everyone except the people renting them. Are they cheaper? I would think that they would have to be cheaper if they were smaller and shittier, but I'm assuming that they're probably not cheaper. Um, no, okay, yeah, figures. That figures. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So Well, it is what it is. We'll see what we get when we go to Charlotte and Chicago. You think it's something that they're just going to replace? Like at some point, they'll just replace all of them with these stackable ones eventually. Um, hmm. Yeah, probably. All right. Well, whatever. I wish I could bring it on screen. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that on StreamYard. Should we figure out how to do that? Let's see. This is YouTube video. I don't know what's going to pop up, though. Do I have anything sus open right now? I don't look at sus things. What am I saying? No, nothing's open. Okay. Well, now you see that, but how do I put my, how do I change the thing on the thing? Uh, can I make, how do I make this a thing? Add item, camera? No. How do I, wait, how do I make this just like a desktop? Oh, is that presenting? Is that what it's supposed to be? I don't know how to use this shit. All right, we're going back to the thing. I don't know how to use this damn thing. I gotta figure it out. Okay, so tonight we're talking about Scarlet and Violet sets and why they suck. I'm just kidding. We're 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 talking about Scarlet and Violet sets and whether or not they suck. No. How do I say this in a different way? Whether or not they're good or bad. That's what we should talk about. Whether or not the Scarlet and Violet block so far has been living up to the hype. Um, and whether Pokemon needs to step it up. I think you guys already know what I think about the Scarlet and Violet block so far. I think it sucks. But yeah, so I don't know if anyone disagrees with that and has some reasons why, but this is the time where you can hop on and argue with me about why the Scarlet and Violet sets suck if you want. Uh, I don't think they all suck, but what I will say is I feel I'm okay. I was thinking about this today, and I'm like, this is like a glass half full, glass half empty situation, right? I'm always glass half empty because I'm old and irritated all the time. But people who are glass half full are probably like, wow, Pokemon is still as popular as ever, even though the Scarlet and Violet sets have been fairly weak. Um, it's still great that Magikarp is worth $80 or whatever. I don't know. Um, and the glass half empty, me, in my mind, I think the fact that the most like touted um Scarlet and Violet set is a set that has no chase in it apart from a Magikarp is pretty insane. Like it's for some reason Paldea Evolved has been anointed the set that the YouTubers are going to say is good, even though it's very mid. The Magikarp is the card right now that's being talked into existence of being expensive for some reason, even though it's a Magikarp. Is the artwork good? Yes, but the artwork doesn't really matter in terms of like what I'm talking about, in my opinion. Um, so I just think like all the sets so far that aren't a specialty set don't have much chase. There's really not much chase. The newest set kind of has a little bit of chase because of the Greninja, right? But like there isn't a second card. This is the ninth set of this block. Sword and Shield, 9 sets in, was Evolving Skies, right? A set which even up until that point, right? You had even Battle Styles. I would argue that Battle Styles is better than every non specialty Scarlet and Violet set so far. It introduced a new collectible rarity that everyone loved. It had Tyranitar, which is probably, I would say, like A teetering on B in terms of popularity, a card that everyone loved. It also had Empoleon, which I would say, again, kind of A teetering on B popularity. And it had Urshifu, the brand new Pokemon introduced in the DLC that people are getting used to. I don't know if very many people really cared, but it had chase. It had multiple alternate arts that you wanted to pull because they were cool, right? So far, let's talk about Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign has like 28 alternate arts or some crazy shit. And there's multiple alternate arts in there, including the Moltres. It had A tier popular Pokemon that people wanted to chase in the alternate art rarity. Then you had Evolving Skies, which is like every single alternate art in that set, apart from maybe a couple, are cards that people want to chase and love. Every single evolution, a bunch of Dragon type Pokemon. Like that set is wild. That's where we were in Sword and Shield, where we are now in Scarlet and Violet. That's where we were. Scarlet and Violet so far. Give me one set that isn't a specialty set that has multiple cards that people actually want to chase. Give me one. Is there one? I don't think so. Temporal Forces. What's the chase in Temporal Forces? What would people want out of Temporal Forces? What would people want out of Paradox Rift? Now we're getting into the idea of the popularity of Pokemon, right? So, in my opinion, a good set is one that has multiple chase cards of Pokemon that are popular. Pokemon that transcend children and go into the realm of the adults. So, see, this I son of a merc. I could say that every set has 6 SIRs. Every set has 6 SIRs. The new set has 6 SIRs. It's about whether or not people want those SIRs. I don't think that people. Greninja is one example in which I would say yes. Greninja is a extremely popular Pokemon, great artwork, and it's expensive, and it makes sense. It's a chase. It's a legitimate chase. It's an expensive card of a popular Pokemon in a new set. Let's see. I will. How do I add that for? Oh, wait. Invite. Oh, it's probably a different link from last time. See, playable is a different thing. Again, playable is a different thing. All right. Save. It should be updated now, Mason. I'm not arguing that the new sets still have amazing artworks, amazing special illustration rares, that the artwork is just as good as a lot of the alternate arts, right? From Sword and Shield. I'm not saying that the art is bad. I'm saying that not every good set needs home run moon chases. That's true, Grimer. That's true. But what I'm saying is there hasn't even been one set that has more than one home run moon chase. And in Sword and Shield, we had 3 sets at this point that had more than one home run moon chase. And I know we have hopefully amazing sets on the horizon. We have another EV set. Who knows what that's going to look like? And then on top of that, we have what is the Rocket set that hopefully exists. But just hold that Iron Leaves. Iron Leaves, though. If you go to anyone, we are Sword and Shield is a super outlier in that regard. Yeah, but we would expect that if something was good in the past, that they would want to continue that going forward, right? So many blocks are dark for the first half. So we should go backwards then. So Pokemon should take us backwards. They shouldn't continue being good from the Sword and Shield block. Instead, they should go backwards and get worse. So to you, new Pokemon can't be chases. It's not that new Pokemon can't be chases. Kind of. It's that chases typically are Pokemon that have, like, just think about the chase of most sets. It's not, and this is I'm speaking of chase in terms of overall, not what's cool to one person, right? So like Magikarp is a chase right now. Has Magikarp ever been a chase in the history of Pokemon? Magikarp is even a Gen 1 Pokemon. I wouldn't say that he's probably A tier, S tier, even B tier in popularity. He's probably more like C tier popularity. Magikarp is a freaking chase right now. Like, shining Magikarp, but that was because of the rarity. That was because it was a shining card. That makes sense. You guys, oh man, you guys, either I'm not explaining something very well or you guys are just on one right now. I'm not saying that new Pokemon can't be a chase. What I'm saying is typically a chase is a chase because it's popular, because there's a popular Pokemon on it. Typically new Pokemon, sure, they can be chases, and then they're not going to be chases in like 2 years. In 2 years, nobody's going to look back on Iron Leaves and give a shit. They just won't. They won't. I can guarantee it. I will bet somebody that in 2 years, Iron Leaves, no one's going to give a shit about. Nobody's going to care. How's it going, Chef? Somebody need to get in live with you. It's open. The link is there. No, I think about where we were at, and we could say that Sword and Shield was an anomaly, but then that's just saying that you're accepting the fact that Pokemon has gotten worse. You're saying that the sets previous to this era were an anomaly, and we shouldn't expect that going forward. Well, then what you're saying is so far the Scarlet and Violet era has been worse overall than the Sword and Shield era, because we shouldn't expect better than what we had, and that was an anomaly. So therefore, we should go back to the way that it was, which was worse. So you're saying that you're agreeing with me. We're just splitting hairs. What's a new Pokemon from Sword and Shield people cared about more than Scarlet and Violet? None. Nobody cares about Sword and Shield Pokemon. Nobody's going to care about Scarlet and Violet Pokemon. There are cool Pokemon from Sword and Shield, but in terms of long term, no one's going to give a shit about any of those Pokemon from that game in 20 years. That's what I think. I already think nobody cares about Sword and Shield Pokemon. Is there one Sword and Shield Pokemon that we've even heard about in the last year? I don't think so. I don't think so. Hot take Sword. How I don't understand how that's even a hot take. Look at Gen 5. Look at Gen 5. Or X and Y. Look at X and Y. Look at Gen 5. Look at Black and White. Look at any of those like middle era sets. There's maybe like one or two outliers from each of those games or those Pokédexes that people actually care about. It's not like base. It's not like Gen 2. It's not like where there are so many Pokemon in the Pokédex that people have so much connection to. It is a couple Pokemon from X and Y, a couple Pokemon from Black and White. There's like no Pokemon from Sword and Shield. Dragapult is great. I agree. Really cool looking Pokemon. Nobody's going to care about it. Your daughter loves Sprigatito. Well, Sprigatito is also in the show, which makes sense, right? I'm trying to think of a Sword and Shield Pokemon. Oh man! All right, Mason. Mason's coming in. I know he's about to fight me on this. Mason, you're on.
So here I was, sitting here, trying to play some Red Dead 2. I was like, oh, it's 8 o'clock, Java's on. I'll hop on there. And then I just hear a half an hour of just the most rage baity, clicky stuff of all time
I believe
on any
everything that I'm
live.
saying right now.
I know, and that's why it's so like crazy to me. Hi Tyler, how are we doing? Good to see you.
Oh, doing
Thank you
great,
for
doing great. How
having
are
me
you?
on. And
Yeah,
thanks for having me hang out.
of course.
This is not a flattering image of me at all, sorry. But this is I just had to come in here and defend Scarlet and Violet's honor because somebody has to.
Okay.
Okay. So begin.
Go for it. Yeah.
So you're talking about Paldea Evolved. Magikarp, great card. Shinji Kanda, beautiful card, beautiful artist. I love all of his arts.
I agree.
Same dude that did the Giratina, yeah. So
Yeah.
it tracks that art style is something that people are drawn to, especially in a higher rarity chase level. So artist has something to do with it for sure.
It's
And
not
it's an art rare.
necessarily a
It's not
higher
a
rarity chase level though. It's just I
yeah.
mean,
It's just a regular old thing. So that a regular old like art rare, not even ultra rare, could be a chase card. That's cool. That's a great thing. That
yeah.
proves that there's genuine demand despite the supposedly larger amount of this card floating around, right? I mean, that tracks for me. The track for you?
That's the glass half full take.
I
When I
don't know if
started,
it
I
is.
said
I
there's a
think that
glass half full take and there's a glass half empty take. And my glass half empty take is it's wild to me that
Mhm.
a Magikarp, a not necessarily historically popular Pokemon, you wouldn't say that Magikarp is like A tier in popularity.
I
He
mean,
might be like
Magikarp had its own
B.
mobile game made about it. People love Magikarp. I think Magikarp is very well like.
He's definitely not
He's
up
up
there
there.
with like Mewtwo, Charizard.
Oh, come. All
Like
right. No, he's not like
he's
the
like
top
maybe
10
like
Pokemon
B.
of ever. He's definitely. I don't know. He's him and Gyarados are definitely up there as like favorites, right? I think that's not a crazy take.
Carp is more popular than T-Tar. That's what Grimer said. I don't know if I'd agree with that.
Yeah, let's not go that far. Let's not go that crazy. Let's
But
not
like,
go. But you're talking about Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved also has all the art rares for the three starters. It also
yeah, but
has Iono in that set, which is a nice, good, expensive chase card. The Paldea Evolved has a lot going for it for sure. It is definitely from as far as like a set makeup goes, it is the strongest uh, Scarlet and Violet set outside of the obvious, like like 151 or whatever. Don't obviously.
Paldea Evolved is essentially Rebel Clash with some SIRs. The makeup of Rebel Clash is the final evolutions of the starters.
Yes.
And some other like secrets and stuff. It probably didn't have it. Well, Marnie wasn't in Rebel Clash, right? She was in base.
She may have been actually. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm at on my phone, so I can't really look. But
yes, I just don't know. Like the glass half empty says we're at a place right now where one of the most expensive cards in this block is a Magikarp, and I look and I say that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. It's a very cool Magikarp, though. It's very cool.
It is. It's a beautiful card. It looks really nice. But
I would argue that the other things about that card take out that it's even a Magikarp. I think that card in general is just so cool looking that it is. It could be any. It could be a lot of other Pokemon, and it'd probably be just as cool and just as popular. Is that a take?
Yeah, I mean, I would disagree with that.
Okay.
I don't think that any
Magikarp
Pokemon
is
in
not
that...
a popular Pokemon. So
no, I don't think
either you're
so.
saying all the Magikarp stands are going in like stonking up on this card, or it has other fundamentals there that people appreciate and enjoy.
I think a lot of people in the content space talk about Paldea Evolve as it is like the best set so far of this block. I think that is the general sentiment with most like online influencers about Paldea Evolved.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it. Like if that's the case, then I feel like it's weak so far.
Did you I mean your Charizard stand, you didn't like Obsidian Flames?
Obsidian Flames is fine, but it has only one chase card, which is the Charizard. There's really nothing else of like uber popularity to chase. One of the arguments that I made earlier was by the time that we're going to be at set 9.
Yeah.
Set 9 in Sword and Shield was Evolving Skies. So we had 3 sets that had, in my opinion, multiple like A-list popularity Pokemon species to chase in a brand new rarity, which was the alternate arts.
Yeah.
At this point. And so far, they've included a spec, which to a collector really doesn't matter. To players, it matters. Otherwise, they haven't really added anything new to really spice up this set at all so far. So,
well, the next set, the Stellar set, is going to definitely be probably one of the better sets of this block. I think that's as far as like standard sets go. I think that's pretty. The writing is all there. I mean, it's basically Crystal Pokemon, right? So it's kind of a cool thing. It's what they should have done to begin with the whole hat thing. Is that they should have just made them like Crystal Pokemon and kind of like leaned into that a little bit more. I think people would have been more accepting of it. I think, Pokemon cards are designed based off the video game. The video game is not designed to make cool Pokemon cards, right? So it's kind of like you got to work with what you got, especially like with the DLC stuff. Like you got to make DLC stuff and stuff going on with the sets, just like they made stuff along with Arceus, Legends Arceus game. They made a couple sets about that. They just they're always playing chase. They're playing support on as far as like, hey, this thing came out, we have to kind of like make cards and stuff relevant to that. So I think now that hopefully we're past that point, I think the Stellar set is going to have the turtle thing, so we got to have like more DLC stuff pumped down there. But there's going to be some good stuff. We're going to get like a Stellar Charizard or something like that. We're going to get like some awesome like cool Pokemon down the pipeline of that kind of stuff. So it's on the way. It's on the way to being here. It's going to be a cool thing, and it might end up being like. It might end up being like our rainbow Pokemon, which is kind of like ugh, right? But I think it's probably rainbow Pokemon done right, if that makes sense, as far as like a chase or a rarity.
it will be interesting. I mean, I do have a couple questions here. Cam says that, in my opinion, art being nice has almost nothing to do with the pricing. I would agree with that
again, like
personally,
what if it's not Magikarp? If Magikarp's not the reason, and the art isn't the reason, so why is that card popular? Why is that card expensive?
because there's nothing else to
There's got to be a
chase.
reason. Like we can't just say, oh, it's just the best card.
Well, I would say that there's a lack of chase, and it is when you have a lack of chase, which in my opinion, chase is popular Pokemon, decent artworks, things that popularity and demand is what drives chase, right? So if you have a lack of that, then you're going to go to the next best thing, which is a Conda artwork of a Magikarp that happens to include Gyarados, which is a very popular Pokemon. So it makes sense if you have a overall lack of chase in a set, that's something that maybe wouldn't be chase if there was more to chase is then the chase.
I think that would work with any other set other than Paldea Evolved, because there's plenty of stuff in that set that could be a chase if like people want to be like pick and choose a card to chase after. That set with the Ino, with the 3 starters, final evolutions, all those things could be seen as the chase for that set without picking a random art rare. That I don't know. I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Like
Reimer
what
asks,
is
does
the
it chase? Oh, go ahead.
Like, what's the chase card of like if you talk about like Scarlet and Violet base, what's the chase for Team of Flames already has one, Temporal Forces, things like that. Like if you're picking and choosing, like, okay, let's pick a card from this set to go after. Like, I don't know. Again, would the Magic Carp really be it if it wasn't something more there? I don't know. I'm getting lost in the sauce of like the argument of, oh my god, Magikarp.
Yeah. Well, I guess my overall thing, the way that I look at things, the way that I've even approached my business and everything else, is
Mm.
that the popularity of the species of Pokemon is basically the most important thing that I look at. And I think in
Yeah,
the history of most sets, a popular Pokemon is typically the chase of the set. I
I think they designed it as such. Yes,
right.
that is definitely like in their blueprint of like, okay, let's make a set. Let's pick out 4 really strong Pokemon, put in there. I'm sure that's like when you go to stir the batter to make up a set. That is a thought for sure.
Right. So Grammar asks, does a chase need to be a popular Pokemon?
And clearly not, because Magikarp is not a super popular Pokemon. Unless you're
Right.
saying that all the Gen
But I
1
guess,
stands are coming out of the woodwork to choose that
yeah,
card. Because it's either that or what? Charizard? Or what?
Greninja.
The Groudon? Okay. Which isn't even Gen 1, it's Gen 2, but whatever. Uh, or Gen 4, geez. Wow, geez. I'm thinking Tyranitar when I said that. But,
Gen 3, I think, actually.
yeah, if you're picking on like, okay, we got to pick the new stuff and then sprinkle in an old Pokemon for have a chase card just to make other people happy. I think that's. I do think that is again a thought that they do think about in normal composition of sets.
Yeah.
And then even then, like again, if they have like a plan in mind, again, it's like, oh, these are the 3 DLC sets. All right, we gotta throw these DLC Pokemon in there just to like have representation. Okay, cool. They always normally throw at least a little bit of flavor in there for Gen winners and people that like other stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's tough because usually I feel like we do see that, like a good mix.
mhm.
Like Chilling Reign is a great mix of older Pokemon, newer Pokemon, all in alternate art, different legendaries, different mythicals. Like it's got everything.
Is it?
Um, it's got
Do you think
Zorora, mythical Pokemon. It's got the 3 birds, alternate
like
arts. It's got
I
other
don't know
Pokemon. It's got
like
the
but people
regional.
when Chilling Reign came out, people are like, oh, these birds suck. Nobody likes these. What the hell?
Dude, the
This is
Moltres is one
crazy.
of the best alternate arts of that entire block.
I agree. I agree. But at the time, people were like, ugh, I don't like these Pokemon. They're like they're almost like the ancient and future Pokemon versions of this stuff. We're like, oh, I don't like ancient Salamence. That sucks. Roaring Moon sucks. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, people came around and people adopted and accepted them eventually too. So it's kind of the same kind of thing, right? But I think time has a way of just kind of pacifying that kind of initial, again, old man yelling at clouds effect of when things are released.
Do you think that if Scarlet and Violet was, in my opinion, if it was knocking it out of the park, do you think that there would be so much attention right now on what Sword and Shield is doing in terms of its sealed product, people chasing those alternate arts, not the new ones?
Mm,
It seems like people are looking back right now. That is exploding now, and this is what it is.
yeah. I will say this. I do think that I'm surprised that Sword and Shield is already moved as much as it has. I thought it would take a little bit more time. Yeah, it definitely seems like. I mean, there is definitely like, all right, it's going away, last chance, kind of like FOMO kind of thing, adding to this. But I don't even think this is like the end of it. Honestly, I think this is like, how about 2 years down the road when people that you know got in with the hype and everything wants to come back and kind of get a little a little nostalgia of that. I think it's not even to the height that it could be, potentially. I think right now, uh, just based off of older of trends like that. Like you think of like tag teams and how they blew up. Give that same kind of time frame in between the tail end of Sword and Shield and that, and we'll see another really big surge. I think down the road.
Here's another question from Grammer. Does a set need a chase to be a good set?
Yes,
I think so
something
too.
something has to sell packs.
Yeah.
Like this stuff doesn't just it doesn't just feed into itself where people are ripping without any sort of intent. There's got to be something there. There's got to be something that people want to go after, or else packs don't sell, and then the product sits, and then the singles don't sell, and then the
Yeah.
prices deflate to a crazy level. The only
Yeah.
reason why, you can argue, people don't like the future Pokemon, but three future Pokemon from Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift, whichever one it is, where the three,
Temporal
long
forces
neck,
one.
Raikou and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, why are those still 50, 60, $70 cards? Either because they're hard to pull and the market just is kind of like artificially inflating the prices because there's not a lot of singles of that available, which definitely I think contributes to that a lot. Or people genuinely do like these Pokemon, or the art, or the artist. Insert reason, right? Uh, it's not always a this or that scenario. I think it's a spectrum of, and I think Pokemon dialed down the the hit rates just in time for this to not just implode on itself. Because
Yeah.
if those cards were rampant and everywhere, and there was 200 copies of these cards on TCG Player, those would be $25 cards, and that set would be garbage. So I'm thankful for that because that's the business I'm in. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Maybe it's just recency where the last half of Sword and Shield was so good. There was an argument earlier that Sword and Shield was this mythical unicorn outlier, and that expecting that in the new era doesn't make sense. But it's like, then I feel like you're just feeding into my idea, which is this era so far is not as good. And like basically saying that, oh, you shouldn't expect it to be good
yeah,
because the last era was so good. It was so different than any other era we've seen so far. So you shouldn't expect that going forward. It almost feels like a I don't know, just like a defensive Pokemon basically instead of like an argument.
yeah. I mean, and like I kind of said earlier, like the second half of sets are always good because they have to get the DLC and all the things that they're obligated to out of the way first. you know,
Yeah.
things that they have to do because that's the flavor of the franchise. Where it's symbiotic and it helps each other out. Uh,
I feel like we're gonna have what 3 sets with DLC Pokemon at this point though. Like I feel
mhm.
like we had was it 1 set just battle styles or was it
Battle Styles,
um
Chilling Reign, and then uh, I guess it was just those two. Yeah.
was it just those two? Because battle styles had the Urshifus, but it also had the Titar and Empoleon,
hmm
which are both cool. And then obviously Chilling Reign, they just were like, let's have 35 alternate arts. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, interesting.
Because Fusion Strike did not have anything DLC related. I don't believe. Right.
No, I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think so.
So it was just two. And now we have two, and then I don't know, this Shrouded Fable is kind of like I don't even really call it a full set. I don't even call it a specialty set, if I'm being honest. But
Yeah, Shrouded. I didn't even buy any Shrouded Fable because, well, first of all, I don't know why ETBs for Shrouded Fable are so much more expensive than ETBs from. I feel like Shiny Treasure wasn't as expensive as Shrouded Fable, and then the next set for booster boxes is also the cases are more expensive than the last main set cases of booster boxes too. So I don't know if it's like
hmm,
I don't know if you have insight into that on why people are asking more for cases coming up versus what they were before.
oh, I don't know.
Um,
Um,
because Safari Zone was like $5.45 a case for the previous main set,
Yeah.
and now for this one they're $5.95. So they went all the way up like $8 a case, or $8 a box, basically.
I'd have to look and see if they have 10 packs in them or not.
I'm
Especially
talking
since have-
the booster boxes for the following set after, whichever that set is called, I forget.
Oh,
Not the specialty set, but the next one.
Stellar Crown.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're anticipating it being a good set, which I am too.
Sure.
But yeah, that I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you've talked me down off my ledge.
I didn't mean to. I mean, I meant to. I wanted to have banter, but I didn't want to completely take the sizzle out.
No, you're fine. No, it's probably good because, this is kind of a hot take. Cam says, hot take, most tag teams are piss.
That is a terrible take. That is a terrible take.
That is not a good take.
Like, as a child, and I probably said this before, but I'm going to say it again. As a child, I was always just like, man, what if they put 2 Pokemon on the same card? That'd be insane.
Yeah.
And then they freaking did it with tag teams. It's literally like 12-year-old Mason's dream on a card. And
then
freaking did it.
Then with alternate arts, they're like, hold my beer. Let's put like 12 Pokemon on one card.
Yeah.
Which is super cool too. But
yeah.
Let's see.
Tag teams are piss. What a weird. Wow. That's okay.
New gold stars will be the catalyst for half art chases, and boom.
Half art chases.
Boom. I don't think we'll see new gold stars personally.
I mean,
I think we'll go back to the megas because that seems to be what the games are going to do.
Happening.
So yeah.
That's definitely happening. For sure. There's no reason why they couldn't do gold stars, but
yeah, I mean they could always go back to it. I mean they made the Greninja one, right?
Yeah, I just don't know why they would.
Yeah. Here's Cam's follow-up. Tag teams are so boring. ARs, CHRs are so much better. A snapshot of life is definitely better than 2 somewhat related Pokemon fighting something off-frame. So what you're basically just saying is the artwork on ARs and CHRs and SIRs are better than the tag team artworks, which I would say, unless we're talking about the tag team alternate arts, which they had, I would say regular tag teams, sure. I would probably agree with that. I think the artworks now are on alternate arts and stuff are probably better than regular tag teams from back then, but I think some of the tag team alt arts stand up to some of the alt arts today in terms of artwork.
Yeah, I mean, I think of like, well, that's probably not a great example, but the Blastoise Piplup alt art, the Greninja and Zoroark alt, those are all very in the same kind of similar style of
I like
modern
the
alt arts.
Machamp Marshadow, where they're staring off into the sunset. He's chilling on a shoulder.
Yeah, one of my least favorite alt arts, but yeah, that's
what I like that one.
I did.
It's good art.
Video.
Latios making the heart. That's
for
iconic.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a good one. So yeah, it was the vibe before they even knew it was the vibe.
True. Mason busting a fat chill is what I'm here for. Peak has a question. Peak always has amazing questions coming in. Mason, you mentioned a long time ago considering upping grading for the stores because of the revenue. Have you started scaling that? Looking at the Greninja 750 plus sale.
No.
Have you been grading more recently?
I have not been grading very much at all. No, I have not.
Do you rip a lot of stuff before the sets come out? Like, do you try to have singles available, or is it just like
nobody does
just buy stuff from people?
Nobody does that.
I'm the only dumb enough
No,
one to
you
do that,
cannot
apparently.
open. You cannot open a Pokemon and make money. You cannot do that. Even
Yeah, but it's
for
an
a reason.
advertising expense, Mason. People come in for the new stuff, and then they see the
No,
old
it's just
stuff,
an
and they're like,
expense. It
"Ooh,
is just an expense. There's no
no,
advertising. It's
it's
just expense.
advertising."
Yeah, we crack 3 cases of Shrouded Fable so I can have singles for it. Sounds like a terrible idea.
No, because people will then come to me because I'll have the new singles, and even if I'm not making money off the new singles, they're there and they look through all the binders and then they buy the stuff that has margin on it. It's like window shopping, or like when you're going through the checkout and you buy a candy bar because it's there, or maybe they buy a pack.
Okay, so are you cracking Shrouded Fable?
God no, that set looks bad.
Okay.
I don't like the set though, but like, and I don't want to pay $45 in ETB or whatever, $42 in ETB for packs that I sell for $5.50 a piece and would lose money on. Like,
Same. Big same.
yeah.
Yep. So, no.
But I did pull a Greninja, and now that card's like $250. So that pays for
Yeah,
like
and
half my
I've bought
case.
and sold that card like 10 times by now. Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's like, okay, keeping it pushing and keeping it moving is so much better, especially for Modern.
Yeah.
I've been destroyed on cracking Modern and then getting 8s, and I'm like, oh, cool, this is fantastic. Like, it's not. It ain't it, Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the print quality was better, hell yeah.
True.
I would have cracked the hell out of 151 and submitted stuff, but there's no point in cracking the stuff and getting 8s. Nobody's doing that.
I don't think I've graded Modern since maybe some cards from like Paldea. I'm not sure. I don't think I've graded Modern since maybe Sword and Shield era. I'm not 100% sure. Just because, the quality got so much worse.
Yep.
That was my question. I was going to write before Mason joined. Wait. The grading? Let's see.
Yeah.
Mason, why not? What's preventing you? Obviously, there's value in doing it. So curious why you wouldn't add it to the revenue streams.
Again, for the same reason. I don't know if he posted this before we answered or not because I can't see the chat, but
Probably.
Yeah. I'm not cracking brand new product to get 8s.
What about like collections and older stuff that comes in with like high
high there's
value
some stuff I put off to the side for sure. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I had like a Gold Star come in, which is like, yeah, I'm gonna grade that, obviously. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Legendary
that makes
collection
sense.
stuff. That's stuff like that just is no brainer to send.
Yeah. That makes sense. Grimer says which Pokemon would taste the best? It's got to be Miltank or Tauros, or actually Alcremie probably tastes really good because it's literally whipped cream.
Yeah.
Vanillish is ice cream.
Vanillish. Sure.
That's pretty good. We need a pizza Pokemon. That would just be done. We're good. Pokemon needs to take them to Italy, make an Italy region, and then just do pizza and pasta Pokemon.
You were just crapping on new gen Pokemon, and now you want, they should make a pizza Pokemon. And then as soon as they make a pizza Pokemon, you're going to be like, why do they do this? This is
because the more bad Pokemon they make, the better Charizard looks every year. We got to keep boosting Charizard's popularity. He's already at the top, but we can boost it farther. Let's go.
There are very popular Pokemon from Gen 8 and Gen 9. There absolutely is.
Do you think that people are going to care though? Like, I feel like even now, Sword and Shield Pokemon have fallen out of relevancy. Like,
would you like them to print an Electabuzz or a Dragapult or a Tinkaton?
A Tinkaton or a Dragapult over Electabuzz. But yeah, I would classify those two Pokemon as more popular than Electabuzz, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think in 10 years, more people are going to care about Electabuzz than Tinkaton.
Oh, that's a take. That is a take.
I'm just saying.
Do you know what one of the most popular Pokemon was? from the most recent sets that everybody was like, "What the hell? This Pokemon is ass" when it came out.
From the newest era.
Oh, from the most recent ones. Uh, Melmetal, because he
Oh,
was in
from the
Pokemon
Pokemon
Go.
Go Pokemon, yeah.
Yes. People were like, well, "This Pokemon is ass" when it first came out, and then all the kids love Melmetal because they remember doing it with Pokemon Go. It's gonna be the same thing. When those kids become 18, 20, 25-year-olds, there will be God, there's already some 25-year-olds that love Tinkaton, but let's not talk about
I love
those type of
Tinkaton.
reasons.
Tinkaton's
But
the
there is
best
going to be
Pokemon from
nostalgia
the
for
new era.
these mods.
Yeah.
There absolutely is.
I, I I think that there will be, but see, my thought process around this is like I like to I know that it's difficult sometimes to compare collectibles to other collectibles,
Hmm.
but I like to look at comic books and I
Sure.
think like which heroes are still popular today. They're the ones that came out in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and they've continued to go back to them and back to them. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Captain America, all the older guys, and occasionally a Deadpool pops up, a Wolverine pops up, a newer, hero that takes off that everyone loves, but it's
Hmm.
always the tried and true from all the way back in the 30s and 40s and 50s that they go back to make new stuff and really popular movies and everything out of. So there's a part of me that thinks like, yeah, there's going to be the Greninjas and there's going to be the one or two Pokemon from the newer generations here that are going to really pop off. But ultimately, 20 years from now, Charizard's still going to be like top 5 popularity Pokemon. Like that just isn't going to change. It would
Yes,
surprise me if it changed.
that's a fair assessment. But you know as well as I do that when you talk about maybe worldwide versus Japan, and then the type of favoritisms that get put on a certain Pokemon because of how Japan enjoys them, or if they're more popular in Japan.
Mhm.
Um, I think that is there's no denying why Ash had a Greninja. Because Greninja was the number one popular Pokemon in Japan.
Yeah.
Uh, and then why he was in Smash Bros. Because it was the number one Pokemon, and like all this stuff tracks, right? And then so you get in like this feedback loop of like, okay, popular Pokemon will always be popular because they keep making stuff with popular Pokemon. So, and you talk about the comic book. Okay, how do you explain? What would you say about like the Guardians of the Galaxies, which was not particularly fond of, or the characters in that were not particularly fond in comic books, and then had a great movie, and then now I don't know, did people go back and like say, oh man, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I've always loved Guardians of the Galaxy. This is crazy. Like,
Well, I
does
think
that happen?
they fit into like the outlier group
Sure.
because I would also look at like there's a lot of Blue Beetles and stuff that have movies made of them that nobody probably even went and saw and nobody even knew that it came out. But
Sure.
like that's kind of like a set that is headlined by I don't know a Pokemon nobody cares about. Like what was that set that Crimson Invasion was that Heatran or whatever like. Isn't that set like touted as one of the worst sets literally of all time because it has no chase? Um,
Yeah.
because they didn't really. There's no chase. There's no like we talked about before. Like there's no popular Pokemon that people really rallied around to chase in that set, and so it's just fallen by the wayside, and now nobody cares about it.
Yeah. I would have said Steam Siege fell into that
Oh
same
yeah,
trap.
that might have been the one
But
I was thinking of because I think that might have
uh,
E Train.
well, it does. But it also has, I think, a Gardevoir secret in it.
Oh,
So
Gardevoir is cool.
yeah. So
That's a cool
it was
secret.
kind of saved. But again, they always put in the safeguard of like, oh, let's put this one popular guy in there, so we at least have something to prop up in case this fails.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that's true. That's true.
Shrouded Fable does not have that though. That's
No,
the
not
one that
really.
does not has no redeeming things to it at all, which is
If you like colorful turtles, or is that the next set? No, that's the next set.
that's the next
Shrouded
step.
Fable is the Ogie Dogie and the like
Mhm.
the dogs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it is. It's got nothing as far as like callbacks.
All right. Cam says if you had, oh, I hate these questions. If
10
you had to
grand?
spend 10K on sealed product plus grading to flip and profit, what would it be? No cheesy sealed promo answer. Wait, so like one?
So am
On
I
sealed product grading to flip. Wait, does it have to be a sealed product that we're cracking to try and grade and flip? Because this
right?
follow
Is
up
that
is a Japanese base decks. They were 500 and almost PSA 10 hollows were 400 plus. Now the hollows are half that. So it must be a sealed product that we're opening to flip that we can spend 10K on. Am I understanding this
I
correctly?
am I selling it right now, or am I sitting on them and then going to sell it later?
I'm gonna go back to the original answer. It says grading to
Grading to
profit and flip.
and profit.
Cam says yes, so I have it right.
So
So
that would
sealed product that you have to crack and grade to flip.
just be the best thing that has the most expensive cards in it currently.
You would just lose like $7,000.
True. Also, yes.
You would just lose a bunch of money.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that you can crack open, grade, and make money. That's why people don't do it.
Yeah.
That's why pack streamers pack them out for one at a time and
you
not
have
just crack
a-
them all because they're millionaires and just keep siphoning money that way.
Do you have a cat next to you purring?
I do. She's very loud and noisy.
No, that's
Sorry.
fine. Nope. I could hear it in my ear. I thought it was
Sorry.
cute.
If you can hear it, then other people can hear it. And
Oh,
wake
no,
up
you're
on it.
good.
Wake up.
Let's see. What other games do you?
Cam, there is no solution for that. I'm sorry.
No, I don't have one. I mean, you'll just lose money.
Yeah, there is nothing.
Yeah. What other games do best for you outside Pokemon?
Like TCG wise, I'm assuming.
Yeah, at the store.
Magic is number one for sure. Like probably most things.
Okay.
We have a small but passionate Yu-Gi-Oh community. We have a small but passionate Flesh and Blood community. Those are the main games. Everything else is, we sell it if we can get it in, like One Piece and things. But yeah, everything else is more of us just we're gonna get it in because we know we can sell it. Everything else is kind of like, stuff that we carry because we actually have players for it. There's two different kind of things that you kind of stock and plan for. Things that you are just going to buy and then sell for profit just because you can get it, and then stuff that you actually like try to keep in stock for your local guys. And that's the two things those are the two camps that we try to cater to.
And do you run events for both Magic and Pokemon?
Oh, I run events for
Flesh and Blood and all that stuff?
Whoever wants to show up, like we'll run events, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. But as far as like, when I go to sit down and like order product, it's definitely like, okay, we need to get this in and sell it immediately. Don't sit on it, like dump it into the market before it all goes to zero for all these new card games. And then there's the the regular evergreen stuff like Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh that we always try to have in stock, just because we can slow burn it and people will come in and buy. Well, Paldea Evolved, for example, because packs like that are kind of people always want packs of that. So
I'm curious, how's the response been to the tie-in sets for Magic, like the Assassin's Creed and Fallout and all those sets? Because I feel like online I see people are pretty excited about them, but I'm not like, is there enough crossover between people who play Magic and play those video games to generate hype and excitement like they maybe think that it would?
I think people think about those universes beyond things different than like probably what even Magic or maybe even I think of them as. I stock those things very heavily because I'm a game store and I have video game people that are going to mosey on over there and maybe buy a commander deck or packs because they love Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the idea of what those type of products are going to do. And obviously they have a broader appeal than just Magic players. So the people that are going to be buying them to collect as opposed to play is better than what a normal standard set would be, right? So that's the mentality that they go after, is because they want to put something out, build hype up for it, and whether or not they have it evergreen or have it in stock, they don't really care because people are talking about it, right? Oh my god, Assassin's Creed or Fallout in Magic, that's crazy. Holy shit.
And that came out right at the same time as the show was airing, or like close to it, I feel like.
Yeah.
That probably helped.
Yeah, for sure. definitely. So
because the show was actually really good. Did you watch that?
not yet. I will eventually,
Okay.
but so that's what they're like. They're like branches to try to get people into playing Magic, which is, and people think of them as like maybe like investment pieces, where I see them far more as like PR, like outreach,
Yeah.
which is
Well, to be honest, like some of the artworks from, I don't know what they call them, if they're called alternate arts or something in Magic. I've never been really into Magic. I played a little bit with my brother, tried to get me into it at one point, but
Sure.
when the Lord of the Rings set came out, some of those artworks, like the kind of the more fancier ones, like the 70s styles poster, like
yeah,
those are gorgeous. Like I would
crazy.
love to just
Yeah,
own a
very
set
good.
of those because just for collectibles sake, because I love Lord of the Rings. Like,
Yeah, I mean, and that's like kind of the idea too. Is like they have a broader appeal to try to get people into the IP, right?
yeah.
So that's the fun of it, and that's the goal. And when I stock something like that, yeah, it's gonna be popular. I know it is, right? And I try to get as much as I can. But yeah, that's the response is good because it at least gets people thinking about Magic that maybe wouldn't otherwise think about Magic, and definitely the response from all the stuff from Universes Beyond has been fairly positive. Even like the Doctor Who stuff. Doctor Who was like, I was like, really, Doctor Who? We're gonna go to do Doctor Who right now? But
Doctor Who's cool. Yeah.
those collector boosters are already almost $400 a box. So yeah,
It's
there's
crazy.
there's demand for all that stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. Peak had something nice to say. Java, I binged all your top 5 list videos. Got me hyped to look around for stuff I normally wouldn't. Some of your best content, in my opinion, other than bringing Mason on.
Jeez. Yeah. Is there anybody else that wants to come on? Is there anybody else? Like,
Nobody's in waiting.
it's supposed to be like a call in, but I'm just
You
feeling,
guys can
which
you
I'm
guys can hop
fine. I'm
on.
fine with that.
There's a
But
link in the description
I
if
would
you want
love
to hop
to,
on.
talk to other people or give somebody else a chance. Really.
Yeah. No, link
I'll
is
talk
in
about
the
this forever though.
description.
Otherwise, I'm here.
Let's see. Legend of Luke is here. What's up, Luke?
Yeah.
Uh,
Luke's been on Whatnot a lot. Have you seen him?
I have seen that he's been doing it. I occasionally will watch on YouTube because it looks like he's duo. He must be duo streaming.
Yeah.
Which is cool. We hung out basically all of Card Party. We just like gravitate toward each other because I think we're both always making content. So everyone else is selling stuff and we're running around with cameras.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth for people to, hang out with.
Yeah.
Luke's great.
Let's see. Charizard on top won't change, but does that mean that they should give up on others because of that, or give other more shine and better chance to have more fans? I think it's kind of a double-edged sword because if the Pokemon's not popular and then you try and push it onto people, it's like maybe that'll work, maybe it won't. Like I think Greninja worked because it's a really cool Pokemon. It's a great design, and they introduced him in the show, which made him very popular. He was one of the better starter choices in the game as well. And so I think that kind of worked. They kind of, and they're trying to do that I think right now with like Sprigatito and some of the Pokemon in the, what is it, Journeys? Is that what's called, the Journeys show, the new show?
Yeah.
So they have in the past introduced Pokemon in a way that skyrocketed their popularity. So they can do it. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I think that Pokemon that are popular today, the majority of them will be popular in the future.
What do you think of, because we were talking about Chilling Rain earlier, Pokemon like Shadow Rider? I think that Altart is up there as far as like value now in Chilling Rain and beats out some of the other more obvious ones. What's your take on that?
I don't know. It wouldn't make sense to me.
Okay, fair enough.
But I mean, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that this is the way that I look at things.
Oh, I'm just trying to get your opinion. I'm not like.
No, yeah.
I'm trying to get you.
But I
I'm
think
not trying to get you. I'm just.
I think I'm probably conveying myself that I think this is 100% going to happen and that I'm correct. I don't know that I'm right, but this is just the way that I think about things. Is I think popularity of Pokemon is number one, like number one on whether or not something's going to be cared about in the future is which Pokemon is on it.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and so that's kind of how I think about like sets and things, whether or not I want to stock them, whether or not I want to care about them at all, whether or not I want to rip them. What is there to chase? Is there a chase? And of course, like kids are gonna love, Roaring Moon right now because they're playing it in the video game and all that stuff. There's gonna be an attachment to it.
Do you really not like Roaring Moon?
Roaring Moon's fine. I think he's cool
Roaring Moon's
looking.
sick.
I think it's a little
He's
weird
great.
how they were like, we're just gonna change Salamence, give him instead of doing like the regional variant, they created an entirely new Pokemon and gave it like a new Pokédex number and everything. I thought it was a little weird how they did it, but Roaring Moon's really cool looking. I 100% I agree. Very cool looking Pokemon. They just kind of changed that for some reason. Like, why don't just make it a regional variant like you've done before with like the couple eras instead of creating like a whole new Pokemon, which we know is based off another Pokemon or is like an ancient version of that Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or make it like an evolution of that Pokemon instead of, I don't know how they actually evolve in the game. I don't know if they evolve into those things or devolve into those things or
No, they are their own thing.
Yeah, they're just their own thing.
Yeah, because they're from the past. They're not from the future, or they're not from the present.
Well, but doesn't Scyther evolve into the other one, the other dude? That's from Legends Arceus, but he's kind of like a former version of, or like an ancient version of him, isn't he? Or am I just making that up?
No, you are correct.
But doesn't Scyther evolve into him, or am I making that up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Look.
Wow.
Pokemon's never been great with their consistency of a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep it fresh, I guess.
Which you hate, apparently. So I guess just...
sometimes. Let's see.
You would rather have them just like make the same 20 Pokemon forever and be like, yeah, this is just cool.
I just think every set should have a good mix of every era.
Yeah.
Instead of like every set this block basically being focused on the newest era with like a couple little things sprinkled in here and there. I would like to be more balanced. Of like, yeah, we'll include this other stuff, but we're also going to have, a Salamence SAR or a, something of Pokemon that people adore from the earlier generations as well.
Would you like them to be like, okay, we're going to choose one from each generation every time?
They could.
You want to like that? You want to like that
strict?
I
wouldn't hate that. They wouldn't have to be that strict.
Okay.
But I think a variety is nice. And I think that a lot of people aren't going to spend the money to play the DLC. So it was one of the things that I thought about for Battle Styles was like, who really cares about Urshifu? Like a small portion of people who played the game are going to buy and play the DLC. It's not going to be the majority of people that played the base game. So people are already kind of on the back foot of like, who's this Pokemon? Why should I care about this? And then, they look him up from there and maybe he shows up in the show and stuff like that. And then you kind of get to understand and know him. But at first it's kind of like a minority of the people who actually played the game are going to have an attachment to those legendaries. So now we're going to have 3 sets with those legendaries. And it's like, how many people actually know who these Pokemon are and like played the DLC?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, I'll be like, they have to, with all the mediums, they have to mix them, right? They have to, like, in order to make plush of the new DLC Pokemon, they have to make a card game. They have to make, all these things. They have to, all the branding has to be so cohesive, and that the awareness of the stuff gets out there so that they can peddle their wares. You know what I mean? So
yeah. What do you think about people who? I feel like there are people who think, and this could be a super minority of people, but I feel like I saw it with Cerulege and Armorage. When Cerulege and Armorage were announced, I was like, holy shit, those Pokemon look amazing. Yeah. There's so many people in the comments that were like, what is this, Digimon? This isn't Pokemon. what is this? Like it wasn't cute enough. It wasn't
Sure.
round enough. It wasn't like. Why do you
Yeah.
think people have that reaction to Pokemon that look a little more like edgy, a little more, what I would consider like cool and less like cute or like,
Uh, I think that Pokemon does that on purpose because everybody likes different stuff. So there's 1,000 of these little bastards. Let's make them. Let's make them varied in their designs enough to where people can have their favorites and least favorites, and that strikes up conversation.
yeah,
I think that is, again, I think that is all conscious decisions they're making, where they go, okay, we need to pick 35 of these to be like rehashes of the past Pokemon. We need to make 20 that fit this role. There has to be a Lickitung of this generation. There has to be a Pidgeotto or Pidgey line of this generation. They fit all these things into the matrix of the new Pokemon for the generation, and then they kind of fill in the blanks of like, yeah, it's kind of the same, but like not different, kind of
yeah.
thing.
I
Uh,
have enjoyed to some extent that they seem to put themselves like in certain parts of the world and then they kind of form the Pokedex around like what you would find in that part of the world. So like when they were in London, it
yeah,
was, you got the desert Pokemon, and then you got the tea Pokemon. You got stuff that was very like Londony. And then the
sure.
last one was what, Spain.
Hmm.
So you got some stuff that was, similar to Spain. You had Hawaii with the island, Pokemon, the Alolan Raichus, and all
Sure.
that stuff. And they've done a good job, kind of going that route and making everything feel like it belongs in the area that they're at.
Yeah, I mean, do you not like the Tapus?
I like Tapu Koko. I like the Tapus. Yeah,
Okay,
I think they're cool.
okay.
Um,
They're very not Pokemon though. You know what I mean?
no, yeah, they're a bit more like what's that weird Pokemon from Sword and Shield? The one that's all black figures and stuff, and you can barely tell what the hell it is.
Eternatus?
Yeah, Eternatus. It's very
Okay.
weird. Eternatus is weird.
Eternatus is not very British, I don't think,
It's not very
unless I'm missing the
Pokemon.
connection. Unless I'm
No,
not
you just said
understanding.
they're not very Pokemon. Like they don't seem very Pokemon.
No, right? Yeah, Eternatus is
And
not very
Eternatus
Pokemon.
doesn't seem very Pokemon either to me.
No,
Mason, does Lorcana move at your store?
no,
No?
not great.
Really?
Yeah, the last couple sets have been really not great, and we can go down a tangent of why that is. But
I feel
yeah,
like
I
maybe a
just
similar situation than what I'm talking about tonight because
yeah,
I saw in the Discord.
set composition is really bad for Lacana. They're not
Yeah.
really very good at like making a rounded set,
Well,
and
I saw
it
some people in the
shows.
Discord saying something like, "Why are you going to make your third set or whatever about Ursula?" Like people like
Hmm.
Ursula, but it's like that's not one of your more popular villains that you could create a set around to
Well,
like generate hype.
and you also just had Ursula as a chase in a previous set.
Oh yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. So there's also like already like the what do they call them? Enchanted
Enchanted
parts,
rares.
rares or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, of Ursula already. So it was kind of like
Yeah, that's
hmm,
strange.
you have all these lores and all these options. Uh, but yeah,
Um
that's very much a Ravensburger thing, is because they make villainous the card game. So like
hmm,
they're very big on like villains. Like, oh, we know villains. We can make a bunch of villain stuff.
yeah.
So then they're just like shoveling villains down our throats instead of like you know make some cool like themed sets, not like themed as opposed to like a well, it's kind of a theme. Villains is a theme, I guess, but like I don't know, like choose some IPs and then go really deep with it.
Yeah. I
So
mean
if
they
you
just
wanted to
have
make like a Ducktales tribal deck, that you can actually do it.
yeah.
Because people would be all about that and be like, oh, I want like there's dominations already, but like what if you have like all the supporting dogs and all the people from that movie and all the stuff in a deck, like
Yeah.
more so than what it is currently, and it worked, and it like had like mechanics that were integrated with each other. They don't.
Yeah.
It's just these are cool, and there's some gimmick with Dalmatians where you can have like a bunch of them in your deck, like 101 of them, but like
That'd be a big deck.
it's kind of half baked. So
Yeah.
they really need to get composition of the sets down and like thematically archetypes and things like that. They need to really get that hammered down.
Okay. We got another question. Oh, I was gonna say, Chef, are you hiding out in the freezer or what? Because he said he was at work and he's in the chat. Question for Mason: out of your 100% of inventory, what percentage of product do you consider garbage that you have to buy to get your preferred products?
There is a lot of stuff that I buy a couple cases of just to say that I have it, or have it on the shelf, or to fill a hole, something like that. Probably like, if I had to put a percentage, it's probably only like 30% ish. It's not crazy.
Okay.
If you spend and you buy a couple cases of more or less all the products that come out, like, you're in a good spot as far as like allocations and stuff goes. A lot of people always say, "Oh, I had to buy X amount of these battle academies," right?
Yeah.
I think being organized play also has something to do with that. Like I have to have booster boxes. That's why I always buy them in large quantities because I need them to run events with. I run, I go through 2 booster boxes every event, so I have to keep booster boxes in stock. So, that type of buying keeps my numbers pretty high, enough to where I can basically get whatever I want, or at least more than probably most people that do not have a brick and mortar. So, and then that stuff does sell, like all that supplemental stuff. People that come into the store, they're coming in because they want either help with something or ask questions, or if they wanted to just buy the product, they're just buying on Amazon and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
Like, so people that come in, they want to, hey, I want to learn how to play. Hey, my son really likes this stuff. Like, what do you have that they would like from here? You know, for a brick and mortar, you want to have that stuff on the shelves. So it's not a lot of stuff that would be bulk product to like a online store only would be like theme decks and the battle academies and stuff like that are stuff that I do genuinely. I sell them. Like, is it crazy money? No. Do I buy tons of them? No. But they definitely don't necessarily just sit around.
Okay. Well, we have someone in waiting, so I'm going to bring him up.
Please, yeah. Who we got?
Luke is going to be joining us.
Yes.
Luke, you're here.
Hey,
Luke,
guys, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
I think this is a great time to show this comment. Why is Mason just lounging around on this live? I bet he ain't wearing anything past his waist. He just put a shirt on and went live.
I mean, none of us are, so.
True. Yeah.
True.
None of us could be wearing pants right now. You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, I record. Actually, I have done interviews. I've done interviews where I just have a suit top
up,
then just shorts.
Yeah, sure.
Why wouldn't you? You don't want to get too hot.
AC/DC style.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. But how you been, Luke? You've been making a lot of content recently, shorts and videos, and I feel like you've really been ramping up the content coming out here.
Yeah, I kind of had a backlog of some stuff from Card Party and just some other stuff I was wanting to get out. And then I've been doing kind of the simulcast with Whatnot, so that it's kind of nice. Kind of adds some additional content to the channel.
Yeah, how's that been going for you so far? The Whatnot stuff.
Pretty good. I've been figuring it out. Been trying to do mostly like rip and ships, I guess. So yeah, still just trying to see what works, what doesn't.
Okay. Have you tried any like singles shows or slabs or anything like that so far? Or is it mostly just been rips?
I have done singles. Actually, I started off doing that. I I have a friend locally who's consigning some like lower end singles with me.
Mm.
He kind of wanted me just to throw them up there on Whatnot. So I've done that, and then the one Collecticon I ended up buying a lot there. So that was basically for the Whatnot stream. So I've done it a little bit, but I don't have a lot of experience like buying collections and that sort of thing. So I still need to figure out ways to get it cheaper, I guess.
Okay. Mason, have you tried any of those? I mean, you've done the YouTube stuff where you have people buy product and then you rip and ship for people. But have you tried any of the rip and ship like apps, like Whatnot or Drip or any of those?
Yeah. Back in the the heyday of Whatnot, I was on
remember.
there, and I ran out of stuff. I was you try to get the best of the stuff to toss on there and be like, okay, let's do this one and this one, and make all these really jam packed cool shows, and then you eventually run out of stuff, which is like, this 5K that I thought would last me forever, it's 2 weeks, and I'm already gone through it all. So
I've seen your stack of Vibro boxes, Mason. I can't imagine that you've run out of stuff.
Yeah, well, I can't just run common Weedles.
Oh, that's true. That's
and
true. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some people could get away with that, but I can't. So yeah, I mean, it was great for getting rid of that stuff and moving it fast. That's kind of what the dream scenario is. That I don't want to make all these listings on eBay or whatever for this, so I'm just going to throw it on Whatnot and get maybe 80% less, but I don't have to put into the work. It's great. That's kind of the positives there. So yeah, when we did it, it was great, and it worked out in our favor for sure. But yeah,
have you thought about doing like what is that? She's partnered with CGC now. There's a girl on YouTube that rips like every new set of like everything, like rips all the Star Wars stuff, all the like sports. Totally forget what her name is, but I think she's associated with a store.
There's a lot of them, but yeah, a lot of people like that.
And she, I think she works for a store, but she rips for a store. So it's I guess just one of their employees sits in the back and rips all day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Have you thought about incorporating something like that?
I have. It's just finding the time to do it is really what it comes down to.
And having someone that's personable enough or wants to do that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely not me, but if I could have somebody to do it, that'd be great. But I mean, doing that like once a week would be cool. It's just, and normally when I do new sets. But Pokemon came down with their rules on organized play, and I can't open any product on stream until the set releases officially. So that's kind of
because you could lose doing that. You could lose your like ability to run events.
Right. Yeah. So I used to do that. I used to open product on the streams to get like card singles, and then to get the cheap playable stuff, I would open packs for people and keep the bulk and ship the hits, right? Yeah, can't do that anymore. I mean, I have to do it after the set releases, and it's just kind of like you miss your window to kind of capitalize on that stuff.
Yeah,
that way. So,
and that's specifically because you do organized play that you can't do that.
Yeah.
So if you weren't doing that at all, you'd be fine with that, with being able to rip. Interesting.
Correct.
Well, here's a question. Not really a question, but then I have a question after this.
Sure.
Peak That You says, I want a set to come out with blue, red, and yellow collection boxes. Put one exclusive chase in each, and also have a serialized 1-of-1 missing no card. They definitely should do a missing no card at some point. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Red, blue, yellow boxes as a throwback to the game's dream set. So that's Peak That You's dream set. But I'm curious for you guys, Luke, if you want to start, what would be like a set that you would, if the next set could be anything that you'd want it to be, what would like the composition of that set be for you?
Well, if you would have asked me a couple months ago, I would have said a new Team Rocket set. I don't know if that counts still.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing I hope we get. First of all, I think a better name for it would have been like Team Rocket's Revenge. Just keep the the alliteration going. But
yeah, that would have been good. Glory of Team Rocket's kind of like.
I still
Are
wonder
we
if
ever
that's just
cheering for them?
the Japanese name, or I don't know, but maybe it's
Yeah.
the English name. But I guess what I'm hoping they'll do is that we'll finally get like shadow Pokemon in that set. Because we got the Shadow Lugia, like the jumbo card, but we've never gotten that on actual cards. So I hope they go that
Interesting.
route.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll incorporate the megas with the new Rocket set? So it'll be like dark mega Pokemon?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the game is about. Maybe they have Team Rocket featured in there.
That'd be a lot of flavor.
Dark mega Houndoom. It'd be like,
I mean,
okay.
They don't seem to have a problem mixing these unrelated things into sets, at least in English. So
No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Mason, what about you? What's your dream set?
When they announced Champion's Path, I thought for sure what they were doing is they were going to make gym leaders again. So you'd have all these introduction to these new gym leaders, and then have old throwback Pokemon that you would pair with them to kind of like get people on board with the new generation, which I think is very smart and a very good thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that up until set our Gen 3 and 4 in Japan that we just didn't get over here with the Versus series and things.
Yeah.
And even past that, they had some with gym leaders on it, but I think that is a no-brainer. You're going to make supporters with the gym, with the the gym leaders on them, anyways. Why not make the Pokemon have some sort of pairing with that, or make theme decks with? Then you'd have all the theme decks have their Pokemon on there, stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool. And then you can push the gym badges and things like that for like merch and things like that. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. Why? That's the perfect way to like get people on board and to have nostalgia linked to these new characters that they should do every generation. Is just make
that's a good idea.
the pairings with the or maybe some old gym leaders that come back, or like the Elite Four or something like that with these new Pokemon. So it'd be crazy mixed up stuff like that. I mean, makes sense to me, but
I feel like they could have done that with the trainer gallery, because the trainer gallery was like a trainer and a Pokemon, but they didn't go all the way and do like Brock's, X, Brock's.
They just named that. Yeah. And that's fine too. Like I'm totally fine with that too. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the mobile game of the Pokemon. What's it called? Pokemon Masters. It has all the gym leaders and then you have like you pick them and you play and you like build a 3-man team with like the different types and Pokemon and they're all with the Elite Four, the gym leaders from like pretty much every generation at this point. It's very cool. It's a very cool concept for a game, and having a TCG equivalent to that would be super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
This might get controversial.
Oh boy.
Peak says, Luke, now that the Acolyte has aired, the Star Wars show, how awful do you think the show actually is? It's personally the worst Star Wars content I've ever seen.
Yikes.
That's what Peak says.
Man, don't get me started. First of all, are you guys Star Wars fans?
I'm caught up on the Acolyte, yeah.
Okay.
I know enough about it to know what people don't like about it.
Okay.
That's all anyone's been talking about is what they hate about it.
Man, where to start? I was really excited for the show. I think it's cool to go back before the prequels. Yeah, I just feel like I like the overall story. Like I think they had a good idea for an overall story and plot. But I just feel like the execution has been so terrible. Like I feel like the writing is bad. Like characters are doing things that just no person would ever logically do. Some of the lines are just not that good. Yeah, that's at least my general take on it so far. But I'm all caught up as well.
I obviously, I mean, I don't think it's the best thing that Star Wars ever made for sure, but I don't think it's the worst thing. I think there's definitely, I think there's parts of it. Star Wars is weird. It's like for me, it's like a wave. It's like super up and down, even within seasons. So I think like Kenobi, like that show had really good parts. And then everything with, little Leia was pretty much horrible. but everything with him and Anakin was amazing, you know. And then Ahsoka was, I would say Ahsoka was pretty good through most of it, but obviously the Ahsoka and Anakin arc was obviously the best part of that entire thing. So like even within the shows, there are great moments and there are poor moments. And I think even with Acolyte, it's like we had two of maybe the most brutal deaths we've ever seen on Star Wars
That's true.
in that one episode. And I would say the lightsaber fight was cool. It was cool with the guy. Obviously, the reveal wasn't a surprise to anybody. And so, yeah, I think, like Luke said, I think some of the execution and the writing is not great, but I've been somewhat intrigued to see where the mystery goes. I like the whole like gray portion of things where maybe the Jedi aren't necessarily always the good guys. Maybe they're kind of imposing their way of life and their order onto people who, they shouldn't be and stuff. I think it's an interesting thing to look at, but yeah, I don't think it's the worst thing, but I don't think it's obviously not the best thing either. It's just, it has its moments, but
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Jedi, like obviously in the original trilogy, like you look up to the Jedi, like you don't know very much about them, but it's like that's what Luke is obviously trying to be. In the prequels, I feel like you like the Jedi, but you do still see that there's sort of like some flaws with the system. So I do feel like it is in line with that. Like I feel like there is some context to be able to show like the Jedi make mistakes or they're not always doing things the right way. So yeah, I don't mind that part about it personally.
yeah.
I was gonna ask, as somebody that doesn't, I'm not big on Star Wars, and didn't watch. Like, do they ever like give you any like? There's like big gaps in Star Wars, I guess, lore or how this happened or whatever. Do they ever like explain and like go back with a focus of like, hey, this is a confusing part of the timeline. Let's go back and like make a series about it so it makes sense. Or does it feel like it's just like, they just think it's cool, so we're just gonna make whatever?
I think it's probably mostly the cool thing.
Okay.
Because I think like, and I could be wrong, but I thought that they literally made a movie out of one sentence in one of the movies, and it was a really good. It's a really good movie. I like that one a lot. I forget what it's called. The one
Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
literally based off just one sentence in one of the original films. There's like one, if you don't watch the extended or read the extended universe stuff, but it's like one sentence that they talk about with, and then there's the other thing about the Kessel Run or whatever, and then they made the Han Solo movie with the Millennium Falcon doing the Kessel Run in the whatever time frame. It's like they definitely do call back to like earlier things, but I don't know if it's necessarily to like fix things that were weird at the start. Most, I think, it's just fleshing, you hear about something cool in a movie and then they flesh it out later, or they've chosen things to like flesh out or give more backstory to. But Luke, you might have a better answer to this.
Well, actually, I was going to give Rogue One as an example because I think some people were critical of the fact that, okay, why does the Death Star even have the weakness? Like, why would they make this exhaust port here? And so it's probably not the whole reason for the movie, but they do kind of like explain in that movie, like, okay, it wasn't just something they missed. It's actually something that one of the rebels sabotaged the plans. Basically the father of the main character was basically designing the Death Star, and he included that in the plans, and then that ends up being the plans that they're trying to retrieve in the movie, and then it kind of basically runs right into A New Hope is kind of how that movie goes.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a little bit of that, I would say, and they do throw in little things in the movies to like more or less like fix things or retcon things. Like I think like one of the last movies, like Rise of Skywalker, I think there's a scene where like they purposely like hand Chewie like a medal at the end. I think it's like Han Solo's medal, and I think people like always like criticize like, hey, how come Han and Luke got a medal at the end of the first movie, but Chewie didn't get one. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an example of that.
That's funny. Yeah, I just always wondered, like, because they said, okay, so much of the old canon is not factual anymore. You would think they would go back
Well,
and be like, okay, let's fix this, or let's
they're
like
ki-
make it work.
they're kind of going back and like picking things out of the extended universe that they
Sure.
like and making them into and incorporating it. So like
Right.
there's like this metal in the new Acolyte series that is specific, I guess, to the extended universe that can short lightsabers. Basically, if you hit a lightsaber with it, it'll like short it out for a certain amount of time. Or it'll like absorb. I don't know. But they're like picking and choosing cool stuff and incorporating it into things going forward. And I know some people really don't like that. They're like, you shouldn't just pick out the best stuff. You should like do all of it sort of mentality. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel for Star Wars fans. It's hard watching. I don't know. You guys are still getting great content, or getting content, right? Maybe it's not great, great subjectively, right? But you're getting content regardless, which I guess is good. That's a good thing, I think. There's always something coming out that's new for Star Wars, so that's a positive. Better than what it used to be, where it was nothing for years.
That's true. I do think people are a little bit too critical of some of the shows and some of the movies, but there definitely are some valid criticisms for sure. And would say for the Acolyte, there definitely are a lot of them. But there's still some good stuff. So I look forward to them. And it's always a little bit of a toss up whether or not I'm going to like the show, or maybe I'll like a portion of it. Kind of like Java said, like I actually really liked the Ahsoka show, but even with that, there were like 1 or 2 episodes that I'm just like, why,
Yeah, I feel like right now, especially with beloved series that have been around for a long time, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, we're in this time right now that if the trailer comes out, or if the wrong person is the showrunner, or if the wrong person's writing it, or if they see something that they don't like, it's immediately review bombed. And it's like, at this point, it's like you really got to just watch these series for yourself, because it's so hard to know. Like, I think I read something that like the Acolyte right now has more reviews total than every season of Mandalorian, which is just like combined. Every season of Mandalorian combined, the Acolyte has more reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. And it's like, how is that even possible? But it's just people review bombing it, because a lot of them probably haven't even watched it. But then when that happens, the valid criticisms get drowned out by the crazy criticisms, the ones that do that kind of stuff. So it's hard to even talk about valid criticisms anymore, because everyone just looks at you like, oh, you're just one of those haters, instead of actually engaging with the critiques. But
well, on the other side of that, people are more likely to actually write a bad review than write a good review. If somebody's content with it, or they like it, they probably won't say anything. But when people don't like something, they'll speak up.
I just hope there's a plan. Like, I hope there's like somebody has like a master, like, here's our plan for the next 20 years. And
they don't.
You don't think they do? You don't think they do?
Well, they didn't have a plan from the start, because they literally, for one thing, they hired 3 different directors originally for the first 3 movies that Disney came out with, and they didn't talk to each other. Like, each director got to just do whatever they wanted, and because of it, those movies are so disjointed. Like, they don't go together. And it's almost like in some instances, like for The Last Jedi, it's almost like the director did certain things to like spite the last director, and then once J.J. Abrams got back in, it almost seemed like he tried to change things back from before. So it's like they really should have had a plan for that whole series, and someone at least overseeing that. But I don't know. I just don't think they do have a plan.
Yeah.
Well, they have that. They have the guy Filoni. Is that his name? The guy who created all of, like, the cartoon show, not cartoons,
Yeah,
but like
Clone
the
Wars
animated
and
shows that
Rebels. Yeah.
people really enjoyed. He was doing Mandalorian with Jon Favreau for a long time, and then they made him basically in charge of, well, I mean, there's Kathleen Kennedy, right? And then there's him as like the art director guy. But now people are turning on him because of shows like Acolyte and stuff. And now they want to kick him out for some other guy that they think is going to be better. And it'll just be like a never ending thing, I think, as long as, I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. They're allergic to money, I guess.
And then you have some amazing shows from Star Wars, like Andor, which was great. It was a little slow at times, I think, but overall it was solid. Yeah, there's just like there's glimpses of greatness, and then it usually is surrounded by not greatness. But Peak thought Andor was good. I agree.
Yeah, I like Andor.
Peak actually liked Solo. I thought Solo was fun too. A lot of people didn't like. I thought the guy who played Solo was even decent in it as well, but people really didn't gravitate toward that one.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I didn't know why we needed that movie, but when I did finally see it, I felt like it was pretty good.
Yeah. Last question for Peak. Is there something you wish you could do in collectibles that you aren't doing today, assuming anything is on the table? Regarding collectibles.
Wow. Anything, huh?
Anything's on the table. I wish I was buying ponchos at 60% so that I could flip them at 90% and do it over and over and over again until I was rich.
Okay.
I wanted to get into like the VHS grading a little bit, just because I'm a big movie fan. So getting the original Star Wars trilogy or something like that.
Yeah, Peak's really into that stuff.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I had looked into it for a little bit. It definitely seems very expensive, and it's probably a little hard to get. A lot of sealed movies these days.
And how do you know if it's? I mean, probably just like video games and stuff. You just have to learn, I guess, what a reseal looks like and stuff. But it's got to be pretty easy to like reseal like CDs and stuff like that. So I don't know. But yeah, Peak's really into that stuff. So if you ever do want to get into it, you could ask him some questions.
Okay.
I don't know if I have an answer for this. I do a lot already.
You do a lot. It's like every game.
Well,
someone asked, maybe I missed it. Someone asked, oh crap, I forget who it was. Are you carrying Star Wars right now, and how is that doing?
Yes. I have like 6 players that come and play. So it's definitely not booming, but there is interest at least.
Okay.
You said 6?
Just remember that.
6.
And that compared to like what is like your One Piece people, like how many people is in that?
I mean, One Piece I can like sell out of a pre-release of like 32 people. So yeah.
Interesting. I feel like you said it was like dead before it started at one point in the Discord. You still feel like that?
Star Wars?
Yeah.
I mean, for people that aren't like drinking the Kool-Aid, they do say it is mechanically great as a game, as a TCG. It's well made, which bodes well. But yeah, I mean, it's really just too early to tell, to really know. It's really great when a card game has booster boxes that are $150, $200. You're like, wow, this game's really amazing. But if it can have the same interest and the amount of people that want to buy it, if those boxes were $80, I think that's the real true test of like the health of a game. If One Piece flooded all the market, with boxes, would those people still be playing? I think there would still be people playing for sure. If Star Wars went and reprinted and flooded everything, would the game still be great and healthy? I don't know yet. That's a hard thing, and it's just set 2, right? So it's super early, but that's the measurement of like true health of a TCG.
Yeah.
Something that Lorcana is currently failing at, and not not looking great.
How many
Okay.
players do you have for Lorcana right now?
Comfortably, I could say probably 0. I get maybe 4 show up once in a blue moon to come and play. But yeah,
Okay.
apart from that, it's kind of rough. I know some stores do great with it. Some people do, some stores have huge crowds for it. But yeah, for whatever reason, I can't get them.
Do people come in and buy stuff? Like, is it more
Yeah,
collector
they do.
based?
Like people do come in and buy Lorcana. I sell a lot of Lorcana, but yeah, players, it's hard.
Gotcha. So so the singles that you carry in store then come from like collections and stuff that you buy off people for the most part?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Most of my singles, other than for Magic, come from secondhand. Yes,
You rip Magic
yes.
to
Yeah.
have singles available.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Okay. Magic is a bit more expensive for like the collector's boosters and stuff. So, but you find that still works out to rip them?
Yes, with collector's boosters, yes,
Okay,
because you
interesting.
do get that serialized card that is $200 to $500. That helps a lot.
Okay, gotcha. Landon says, "Who's hyped for Deadpool 3?" I am. Comes out this month, right? I think a couple weeks.
Damn, really?
I think so.
Wow.
That'd be cool. Everyone crapping on Disney. Oh god, Polefather with a super hot take. The Eternals was the best Marvel release. That's another one that I didn't think was as bad as everyone said that it was, but it definitely is not the best Marvel release. Did you ever see the Eternals, Mason?
I have no idea what that even is.
That's probably
if I'm so disjointed from Star Wars, I'm even more so with Marvel. Like it is.
Yeah, everything after Endgame, I was just like, no. I tried for some of the like the Loki series and stuff like that after Endgame, but then I was just like, no, I can't. I just don't care anymore. How about you, Luke? How are your feelings on Marvel right now?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they lost their footing, like you said, after Endgame. I actually do like Loki though. That was a pretty good show.
Loki show was good. Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was good, although I cried like 5 times during it, which is not expected.
Huh.
Yeah. If you have trouble seeing animals in pain, definitely don't watch that show.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I had mixed feelings about that movie just for that reason. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
There's a new movie. I guess there's a website you can go on. Like if there's an animal in a film, you can go on this website and check if they survive or not to make sure if you want to see the movie. So I was like, the new Quiet Place movie has a cat is like one of the main characters. And everyone was like, if that cat dies, it'll destroy me. And then people are like, you got to tell me if the cat dies or else I'm not going to watch the movie. So everyone's like, no, the cat doesn't die. And they're like, okay. But yeah. Why do you think that's way too philosophical? Never mind. I was going to say, why do you think people are okay with seeing humans die, but not cats die? Let's talk about that. Yeah. Eternals is the acolyte of the MCU. What? I mean, I guess maybe it's.
I don't know. I think Miss Marvel is the acolyte.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
couldn't see the second
the
one.
Captain Marvel, or no, the second one.
But,
Was there a second one?
I guess both of them. I didn't see the second one, but
The
I
first
just
one I did see, and it
didn't
was
even
not
like the
great.
first one.
Yeah. Doesn't One Piece have a reprint coming for a few sets? Hoodoo asks. Mason?
Yes, one and two just got reprinted, and then 6 and 7. Also, well, 7 was just released, but yes.
One Piece for a
Yes.
while really like spiked up hard. Like it was really expensive for a bit, like way out of reach of a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, even set 1s and 2s, it's still expensive. Still very expensive.
Yeah.
These are $63 at distribution, and they're selling for $150 to $200.
Damn, that's a nice little paycheck.
Yeah, for all 8 of them that I get.
Oh,
yes.
jeez.
Yeah.
What a
It's
reprint.
great. Yeah.
So you already
That's the
got
thing.
1 and 2 in store?
I have 1 and 2 currently. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Man, that's rough. Only 8.
Yeah.
Why do they do that? Why do they even reprint it if they're only going to give sort of 8 boxes? Like they know that that's not really going to make any sort of difference to the market.
I think they're trying to be very careful.
Yeah, they don't want to overprint and then all of a sudden kill
Well,
any like hype around it.
This is by far and away the most successful TCG Bandai has ever made. So I think they're really trying to not mess it up.
Why do you think that the sets are so cheap in Japanese, but they're so... Do you think it's availability? Because the Japanese sets are like 50, 60 bucks a box, I think. Like they're not that expensive at all. But the English ones are like what you said, $200 a box, like $180 a box. I'm assuming it would just be like availability of the product, probably. Like maybe they're printing a lot more in Japanese.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know.
I noticed that because I had heard that it was really expensive in English, and then I looked at my Japanese guy sells One Piece, and I was like, well, boxes are only like 40 bucks. What the heck? And then I looked on eBay, and they're selling for like 50 bucks, and I was like, okay, never mind. It's like, all right, there's obviously a big difference here between the countries, but
Are they smaller boxes, maybe? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Like 10 packs or 15 packs, maybe?
They might be. Anyone excited for, I'm assuming that's supposed to be Shrek. I didn't know they were making a new Shrek. I don't think I've seen a Shrek since past Shrek 2.
Did they make a Shrek 4 and I missed it?
I did hear that the Puss in Boots, the newest one, was like really good though. Which I would not expect like a Puss in Boots movie to be really good, but for some reason people are like, this movie's amazing, like you have to see it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I went and saw that with my daughter. I mean, it was pretty good. It wasn't like as much of a comedy like I was expecting, so I didn't like that part. But I guess for
weird.
if you go in expecting it to be a little bit more serious, then
Huh.
Kind of like
Pretty good.
Toy Story 3, where it was like,
yeah, I guess you
because
can
Toy
say
Story
that.
3 was very serious.
Yeah, because
and
there's some funny
scary at
parts,
times.
sure, but it's like not it's not like the Shrek movies for sure.
Gotcha.
Weird.
Hoodoo says it's the same size. The boxes are the same size.
Oh, so they're just... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
I guess I just assumed it was the same as like Pokemon in Japanese. I mean, obviously we had a boom last year, but in general, there's just more people in the U.S., more English speakers, and I don't know. I guess similar demand, but just more people wanted it.
Yeah. Here comes Walrus with the dad joke. I'm Ogre Shrek at this point.
Nice.
We can move on.
Oh, man. So, Mason, you are going to the board game show. What is it called?
Board game show.
Gen Con.
Gen Con. Yes, it is. It's a big thing, but it's yeah, it's a lot of board game stuff for sure. Yeah.
Have you been to Gen Con before?
Yes, I went last year.
Oh, you did?
It's cool.
What so I always thought it was like a board game thing, but obviously there's
It
like
is
card games and
a
other things as well.
yeah, it's like a vendor show for like all the people that make not just board games, but pretty much all like game store hobby kind of stuff for them to like show off for the year what they're doing.
Is there like Warhammer and stuff there and all those types of tabletop?
Yeah, I think Games Workshop was there. Yeah, but all the TCGs are there. Bandai had like events that they were holding. And I think they're still going to do that this year too. I think Star Wars just had like a big announcement for some exclusive stuff that's going to be there for promos. So that was pretty cool. They normally do have like cool like promos and stuff, just to kind of like to give vendors and people, I guess, a reason to stop by their booth or whatever. So there's always cool stuff like that that people try to go after.
Is there anything in particular that you're going to be looking for? Are you just going to hang out with people? Are you vending? Or...
Oh, I'll probably see. I'll probably only just go for the day, and I'll just run up there and if there's people out there that want to hang out, for sure, I'll do that.
That's not too far away from you then, in terms of like driving.
Oh no, it's 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay, that's
easy.
not bad.
Easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just Indianapolis, so it's pretty close.
PokeChef is curious. Compare Gen Con to a Collecticon.
Collecticon is for the end consumer. Gen Con is for retailers.
Oh.
Do you have to have like a proof of? Because I think
no, it's not. It's nothing like that.
Oh,
it's just there are things for like there's always like D&D groups and pretty much any RPG game imaginable. And again, TCGs too, where you can have and go and play and sign up for games. In fact, Lucas Oil Stadium, they turn into a giant hall of just playing card games and board games and things across the entire infield of Lucas Oil Stadium. So it's kind of a cool thing to just go and hang out and do. Definitely takes over the downtown basically for the weekend. But
so in terms of size, it's like way bigger than a Collecticon.
I would say definitely more people, but there's stuff for people that want to play games to do for sure, but not so much as like collectors and like people that want to go like buy again like slabs or singles or steel product or whatever. It's not that kind of thing. It's like a show off thing, and then you can go and like play and demo that kind of stuff that they are coming out with.
It's kind of like an E3 of like tabletop.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was one thing that I noticed at Card Party. I'm sure Luke too, compared to Collecticon, is like Collecticon has nothing going on apart from the vending. Like there's really not much else to go there for. Like you can get signatures, and occasionally there's like a little concert, and sometimes you can there's maybe a panel that you might be able to hear from across the room. But like Card Party was like there was something happening in some room like every day that you were there, every hour that you were there.
Cool.
There was, and yeah, Pat just did a really good job at creating teams. Like when you first arrived, you either picked gold or silver, and then there was pack battling where everyone got a free pack, and the pack battle went towards your team score, and there were different things that also went towards the scores, and like it was all set up in this crazy thing. You felt like you were a part of like something that was happening. Or Collecticon, you just kind of walk around and maybe you'll buy something, maybe you'll see a cool table, maybe you're selling, but it's less...
I did see where Collecticon is starting to do some panels and kind of stuff like that.
That'd be good if they did more.
I don't know where they're going to do them at, if they have like side rooms or something to do them in, but
yeah,
I did see where they were at least trying to do. I mean, it's all from the influencers that are normally there anyways, but they're trying to at least do and branch out and have like focused discussions and things. So
yeah.
Have they not had panels for a while? I guess I thought they had done those like
they maybe have
on the main stage.
Yeah, they maybe have, but they definitely didn't do a great job advertising them if they did.
I've only done, well, I've been to a couple, but I've only sold at one. And I felt like they definitely have some, because I feel like the voice actors for Ash has been on one before. Maybe some of the voice
yeah.
actors I think they have up there and do panels and stuff, but yeah, it's less. I mean, I feel like once you hear the freaking Pokemon Go theme song, the last place you want to be is as close to the stage as you can. It's like, get the hell away from that thing as fast as possible. So yeah, I guess I just probably miss the panels, but it would be better if they weren't in the room with everything else. Like if they had like a side hall that had
Yeah, I'm
panels
sure
running
they
every
probably
hour.
are. They
That would be
probably are.
cool. But yeah. One thing that actually my local show does, which I feel like Collecticon could easily do, is a cosplay contest. My local show does a cosplay contest that lasts for like an hour, and all the cosplayers go up, and there's judges, and there's like a child group and an adult group and a family group, and they all go across the stage, and everyone cheers for them and everything, and you get to see all these really cool cosplays that people actually create and stuff. Some people phone it in, they buy on Amazon something or whatever, and then there's winners at the end, and it's just a cool. It's an interesting event that happens, and it brings a lot of cosplayers in, and a lot of cosplayers actually really like Pokemon. There's a lot of cosplayers that come by the booth and buy cards, so it's like it just seems like something that at Collecticon so many people are already cosplaying. Why not have a contest for those people or involve those people in some way? Make it entertaining.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I mean, I remember feeling like yeah, there are cosplayers there, but I remember feeling like there should be like way more for this type of thing for anime and that sort of thing. So I feel like that
Yeah.
would get more people to do it.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I feel like Denver, when we did Denver, there's nobody in costume at all. But then Charlotte looked like there was a lot of people.
Charlotte, there was quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're kind of like gearing up to getting that kind of more general nerdy and encouraging that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'd be a good deal. I mean, there's a lot of conventions where that's basically the entire, there's vendors and you dress up and you go,
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of just like a Renaissance fair, but
Yeah,
anyways,
kind of. True.
Mason, have you ever been to like a Comic-Con?
like an official one, no.
Okay.
There's some local shows that they kind of like tour around different parts of like the Midwest, and they have like voice actors that come in and kind of like do a thing and do signings and stuff, but nothing like big like San Diego or anything. No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about them. I guess my only experience with conventions is Collecticon, but is it even the ones that you've been to, like, do they differ much from Collecticon other than obviously not selling TCGs as much? But
I mean, yeah, generally more nerdy things. Collecticon is getting more video game stuff, but video games is pretty big in most like Collecticons and things like that.
like
Yeah,
buying and selling of them, or like do people
yeah.
actually play them, or
Yeah, buying and selling, and then just general nerdy stuff. Like shows that we do, we always take like Gundams. Gundams do very well at shows. So they're just like cool, unique things that people like to pick up. Which is kind of weird because they're like impulse items, but they're also like $60 to $80 impulse items. So they're kind of like a weird thing that people would just pick up randomly, and they're like in huge boxes. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but people do love Gundam. They love to build them. It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of like adult Legos, right?
I mean, it's like extreme Legos, if you ask me. It's Legos, but you can't understand the language that it's in.
Well, Legos themselves are, I feel like sets are just becoming more and more adult oriented. Like, I know so many people that collect or still build Legos, and just get every one of. I had a friend who, I guess they did like buildings, like subdivision buildings almost, that you could like put together to make like a town or like I don't know what it was, but he would buy like every single one of those and put them all together in like different configurations and stuff to make like different towns and things, and it's cool. They have Legos for everything. I feel like nowadays, except Pokemon, we got Mega Blocks or whatever it is instead.
Yeah.
So Luke, are you gonna be in Charlotte?
I'm hoping to. I really haven't thought about it hardly at all yet. I need to start thinking about that. It's coming up quick.
Because you're not too far away from that driving wise, right?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours, I think.
Oh,
Okay.
you gotta go. I mean,
Yeah,
why would you not?
exactly.
Oh, Nano Block. My bad.
Yeah, Nanoblock. I was gonna say Nanoblock it's a Japanese-owned company, so that is probably why they went with that.
Oh,
Which is weird, and I know that Pokemon Company and Nintendo are not the same thing, but they're affiliated. That Mario has is Legos, and Pokemon is Nanoblocks. But I've looked at the Mario Lego sets too, and they're just like, how do we not have like a massive Bowser Castle Lego set with
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
weird.
all this like little stuff. Maybe my Target doesn't have the good stuff, but I've looked at it a couple times. It just looks lackluster. Legos are locked in cases at my Walmart. Where the hell do you live? Jeez.
No, yeah.
yeah. Actually, there's a whole row of that at my Walmart as well.
Locked
They're all
up?
like, yeah, they're like behind glass. At least one of the Walmarts.
I think we have some that are probably. I used to work at Target, so we call them spider wrapped, which is it has like the locking mechanism on either side and then the wire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have those, but
Legos are extremely expensive wholesale. The margins on them are next to nothing. I'm sure for Walmart and Targets is probably better, but I've looked into carrying them. And it's like, oh, you want to make 5% off a product? Cool, here you go.
oof.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it's rough. I remember growing up, the Millennium Falcon was like the Lego set, and our friends down the street on the corner, one of them got the Millennium Falcon for their birthday, and I was so jealous, forever jealous of that thing. It's super cool. Now my brother has one. I think his wife bought him it for like Christmas or something, and he just sat there and built it all day because he'd always wanted one too. We were always jealous, but they do have different Bowser Castle Legos. It must just be my Target, man. We just have shitty Legos.
Yeah, but they're probably like $300, $400 too. So
yeah, that's true.
It's crazy.
What do you guys think of these? Mason, do you have a life-size Arcanine plush?
At one of my stores, yeah.
I looked at that thing and I was like, $450? You're out of your mind.
Before they announced that reprint, they were going on eBay for like $950.
The plushie world is weird to me. But I mean, it's just like any other collectible, I guess. But $450 for a plush?
Yeah.
I know it's big, but it seems like a lot.
People always ask to buy mine. I tell them it's $1,100. And most of the time they go, yeah, it sounds about right.
Someday someone's going to buy it.
I hope they don't.
Plushies print. I've seen
They
it.
absolutely do.
Chef said. I feel like I've heard of people going over to Japan because you can find Pokemon plush in like their secondhand stores, like the official Pokemon plushies in the secondhand stores. I feel like they just fill up suitcases of those things and bring them back here and sell them.
They are a big part of my store. I sell a lot of plush.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's if you think of like the pie chart of like Pokemon's income, TCG is a very small sliver. Video games is probably like a quarter, and then like 40% of it is like plush and merchandising. That is where Pokemon makes most of their money. Yes.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, some of the Pokemon centers, the way that they have their the plushes. Like, oh, nice. There's a Squishmallow.
It's the only one I have though, but I like
Well, the
this one.
Gengar one's a good one. I have a couple, I guess. One that I got out of there's an Umbreon right layer. I got it from it's my only ever win from a claw machine when I was in Japan.
Oh wow!
I probably
You got
spent
an Umbee?
way too much money on it. I just kept feeding it 100 yens. I was like, I'm getting this thing. 100 yen, 100 yen, 100 yen. Finally got it. But
Nice.
yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else we should cover before we wrap it up. Any other questions or hot topics you guys have? Anything you want to throw out there and discuss before we call it a night?
I mean, we never got Luke's take on Scarlet and Violet. We just completely let him off the hook.
True. Luke, do you
Scarlet and
think
Violet, just the whole thing?
do you think that
what
Scarlet
do
and
you think?
Violet so far has been bad, meh, or great? If you had to choose one of the
Those
three,
are the
and tell
only
us
options.
why.
Yeah.
I would go with, I mean, not great, but somewhere between meh and great, maybe. But
Okay.
good. I mean, it's been way better than what we've seen from like early Sword and Shield. And so yeah, I feel like each generation they got to keep like making it better and better, but at the same time they also seem to scale it back just slightly, like with the base set and the first few sets. So yeah, still waiting for those bigger chases, the more popular Pokemon to appear in these sets. Seems like we'll be getting it pretty soon though, with the Team Rocket set and whatever else they got.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, the next, I think I heard you the tail end. You guys were talking a little bit about the next one. Was it Shrouded Fable? That one is, and I think Mason, I think we were talking about it in Discord the one time. I feel like, yeah, I just don't quite understand that set. I'm still waiting to see if they're going to reveal something else that they're just going to add on top of it. Because I mean, the what is it? Stellar Miracle is like coming out, I think, before Shrouded Fable. So like they could potentially throw some stuff from that set in there. I don't know.
I feel like cards that would be the chase of Stellar Miracle are coming out as promos in the collection boxes. Like that Greninja and the
So those are from that set?
Kingdra. I believe those are collection boxes from the Stellar Miracle, I think, or are they Shrouded Fable? They're one of the two sets.
I don't know what they're from, but
Might be Shrouded Fable.
I think they're Shrouded Fable for the collection boxes, but yeah, I mean, yeah, those should have been
those are beautiful cards.
Yeah, great
in the
cards.
set.
Those boxes are like $30. They're cheap. It's good.
Do you think we'll get the Squirtle and Bulbasaur promos
I don't
ever,
know.
or maybe in this next set?
I don't know what they're holding on to those for.
Because they threw in just like random extra unreleased promos might be in this next set, so that's where my mind went.
I have no idea.
Maybe Rocket, because maybe then we'll get like Dark Ivysaur and Dark Venusaur and Dark Wartortle and Dark Blastoise, and if they go the Kanto route again, I feel like, man, if they go like fully the Kanto route for the Rocket Pokemon, obviously as a Kanto fiend, I will love it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, God damn, dude, we just had 151. Like, do we really need like 100% Kanto for Rocket? I mean, I told you I like a good variety. I like,
you like the variety, but if every set has a Charizard and it was always the chase, and
not every set has to have a Charizard.
Pokemon were in every set, and yeah,
I just think there should be, A-tier popularity Pokemon in every set to chase.
I mean, I tend to agree with that, but I don't know.
I think Iron Leaves is A tier. How about that?
Iron Leaves. I don't know. I kind of like Walking Wake and the Gouging Fire personally. I know some people seem to like Walking Wake, but
yeah, but people like them because it's Suicune.
exactly, that's why I like it.
Yeah,
Right. And
It
Suicune
helps
is
a
it like
lot.
an A or S level popularity Pokemon?
Yeah,
There
Yeah.
you go. I mean, that's a good set. I feel like that's, besides 151, that's probably the best set of the era so far.
pretty solid.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people would say Paldea evolved.
It's a good one too, but I think it doesn't have enough SIRs to chase.
True. But yeah,
So Luke
yeah,
says it's
I
like a
mean-
7 out of 10.
what's a
Is
7 out of 10?
that the vibe
Paldea?
I'm getting?
You said
Six?
for the whole era?
6?
Yeah, probably 6.
Ooh, okay.
Because again, I mean, if you put it up against Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, like all the sets are
But
better than those sets.
But like I said before, we're coming up on our 9th set, and the 9th set of Sword and Shield was Evolving Skies. So feel like we're kind of lagging behind a little bit in terms of, quality.
We have half the set to still be announced.
Well, I know what you mean, but I think what they almost did. I almost
There's a
feel
new
like
game
Tempo-
coming out soon. Once we get the new game, they're gonna have to focus on new game stuff.
I mean, only as much as they did with Legends Arceus.
Yeah, one set.
Yeah. But this
Well-
isn't a Legends game. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It literally is.
It is a Legends game. You're right.
Yeah.
Legends. What is it? Legend Z or something like that? What's it called?
ZA.
ZA. That's right. Yeah. True.
It had 2 sets.
Do you think that the Eevee set is going to be as hype as Evolving Skies? Do you think it has the potential? Do you think it even can be? Do you think it has the potential to be? Given what we know, the Pokemon are most definitely probably going to look like in the set.
Yeah, they're all going to have hats, probably.
Yeah. But some people have differing opinions on the hats, so
People seem to love that Greninja, so maybe people are warming up to it. As long as they kind of like cover it a little
they
bit.
hide it with the flavor text at the top. Yeah.
Yeah, like even like the Charizards that we've seen so far, like it's mostly hidden, so I feel like people like them better that way.
Mason, are you a hat guy?
Am I a hat guy? No.
I feel like you always get after me when I shit on the hats in Discord.
No, I don't think it's definitely because it's not because I like them. It's definitely not why.
Oh, okay.
I think it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Why wouldn't it be good?
Do you think we're gonna get 2 illustration rares for every evolution?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Let's not go crazy.
Oh, we got 2 for most of them in Evolving Skies.
Yeah.
Is there also a dragon set? People were talking about a dragon
know
set
what's going
coming
on.
soon too.
Everything's blurring together.
Yeah. So dragon set, EV set, rocket set. Like if that's true, and that's like the start of next year, like that would be crazy.
Sounds pretty stacked to me. Sounds
Yeah,
like we're
that'd be
doing
awesome.
great.
Yeah. That'd be great. As long as it's not all Scarlet and Violet Pokemon.
Sound like this 6 is becoming a 9 real fast.
I mean, it would definitely help. Definitely help.
Couldn't hurt. Let me tell you.
Definitely wouldn't hurt.
If Shrouded Fable is the bottom, then it's back up again. It's okay with me, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shrouded Fable is literally like a mystery to me. I just don't understand it. Like unless
I feel like there should
I'm
be more.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm still
they
waiting.
wanted there to be more, and they're like, "Oh wait, there's."
I feel like Shrouded Fable and the next set could have just incorporated, like, finish off the DLC in one set, and then let's move on instead of making one of them a specialty set, which seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
To me.
Wait,
Not
is the set
sure.
after that DLC?
all these Pokemon I think come from that DLC.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's got the turtle in it. The turtle.
The turtle guy.
Oh, right,
DLC
right.
as well.
The turtle.
But
The Terapagos.
yeah, I think that's all. Well, then supporters as well. So not all, but
Do you think there will be a third wave of Time magazines? And which Pokemon would you like to see on the cover?
it's gonna be all Scarlet and Violet Pokemon.
Oh man, Tinkaton.
Tinkaton, absolutely. Tinkaton's great.
I hope Tinkaton gets like massive showtime in the show. That would be because Tinkaton
Luke-
is great. Like a
Luke, what is your
fantastic-
favorite Gen 9 Pokemon?
Gen 9. Let's see. Tinkaton is definitely up there. I do like Tinkaton. So yeah,
Have
Lily just
Pokemon
got
ever
this.
had a weapon before?
It's got to be something.
I mean, some of them have guns, but like a weapon that they wield. I guess Farfetch has a stick.
Yeah, Farfetch has a leak. Yeah.
A leak.
Well, Zacian.
Oh, true. Sword. Yeah,
Zacian
true.
literally has a sword. Yeah.
True.
I don't know. I do like Koraidon. I mean, he's like your main
Okay.
companion throughout the game, so
Sure.
you kind of warm up to him. I like the cards that have come out so far for that Pokemon. I'm trying to think who else is in it. What else is in the set?
Tyler, what's your favorite Gen 9 Pokemon?
Which one's Gen 9?
The
new
last one. The latest one.
The new one.
Yes.
Tinkaton.
Tinkaton is?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
Tinkaton's awesome.
Okay.
I really like the design and yeah.
You want to know what mine is?
What?
Uh,
Don't say the Flamigo because it's literally just a flamingo.
No, he's fine. I mean,
Goldango?
he's fine. I don't not like him, but I like Bramblin.
Oh yeah.
The ghost tumbleweed thing.
Yeah, the tumbleweed.
Oh.
I don't know why. I love that little dude. He's so cool.
Ceruledge and Armorage are very good. Ceruledge is really cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the swords
I
for
can get on
hands.
board with those. I don't hate those.
I like a Houndstone and what's the other one? A Grievard.
Fido. Doxbun. Pretty cool. Pretty cute.
It's a neat idea for a design. Yeah.
It's not a pizza Pokemon, but it's pretty close.
we're getting there. It's the dough. We just need
We're
a
getting
tomato
there.
Pokemon, a cheese Pokemon.
Pizza the Hut.
We'll make our
Huh?
pizza Pokemon eventually.
See, there's some cool ones.
I'm trying. All I can think of is Tinkaton.
Baxcalibur's cool. Ice
Is it,
Dragon
though?
dude.
Isn't Baxcalibur
Godzilla?
literally just Baxcalibur is literally just a reskin of the Pokemon from last generation? It's like literally the same shape.
Aren't they all?
No,
I mean, aren't they all kind of similar?
all the dragon Pokemon. I don't think so.
Kinda.
He's kind of just like the skyscraper Pokemon, but just looks a little bit more like a dragon. They gave him like a spike on the back.
Mm.
Paldean Wooper. Does that count?
Sure.
Yeah. I can't think of any more.
There's so many more. There's so many more. There's great ones.
I didn't play. I couldn't finish the game because I thought the game was really bad. Miraidon. I like Miraidon.
I'm
I
surprised.
like
you don't
Koraidon. I
I'm
like them
surprised
both.
you don't like King Gambit.
Oh, I like King Gambit a lot.
Okay.
King Gambit's awesome.
All right.
And
Now we're cooking.
the illustration rare that King Gambit got. Oh boy, that card is cool.
Son of a
See?
Merc said Screamtail.
Oh, I like the primate, the ghost primate.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Annihilate.
Annihilate.
Very good.
Yeah, Annihilate. That one's cool. I like that one.
See?
Yeah, there's some
funny.
good
It's a
ones.
good
I'm
one.
not saying there aren't good ones. I'm
Just no one's going to care in 20 years.
Yeah, I just don't think people are going to care about them.
Is it
Sword
a
and
hot
Shield
take to say
Pokedex
that?
Great.
Is it a hot take to say that Screamtail is a better Jigglypuff than Jigglypuff?
No.
I
think that's a great-
No,
Call.
I'd
That's
have
great.
to look again, but Screamtail's cool. Kai didn't learn any new Pokemon after Lotad.
After Lotad?
Oh, I like the Masquerada. Is that what it's called? Meowscarada.
Yeah.
I like that Pokemon. Yeah.
The adult grass.
Yeah.
It's the most popular Pokemon from Gen 9. in Japan.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh.
It's a cat.
It is.
Is
Checks
the
out.
main Pokemon in the TV show.
Do you think they'll evolve Sprigatito as the show goes on, or do you think it will stay a cute little cat? Kind of like Pikachu.
Nah, they'll evolve it.
You think so?
Yeah, because Masquerade is the most popular Pokemon.
Got to get to the final evolution.
Yeah,
The most
I mean-
popular one. Yeah,
They'll
no,
probably
that
just
makes
skip
sense.
the middle evolution, you know.
Yeah,
Have
he
you
can.
been, have you been watching the show, Luke?
Yeah, I've been watching it with my daughter.
I
I'm
gotta
not
watch. I gotta
too
watch
far
it.
into it, but it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. More and more people in the Discords, I feel like, have been watching it and saying good stuff about it. So I'll have to check it out.
Are you disappointed about Ash not being in it anymore?
I think it was a weird choice, but they can always bring him back if they need to. If this like crashes and burns at some point, they have to go back to it. He can always come back. What I would like to see is if he did come back, he came back as like a grizzled like adult,
Yeah.
and they did a show with like maybe him like mentoring like a trainer or something, and he had his Pikachu and stuff, and he was more involved, but I mean, maybe not the main character. See, they could have done that instead of just completely cutting him out like 100% and moving on. They could have like eased into it a little bit.
But they can't because he just doesn't age. So
Yeah.
They'd have to figure out the aging problem since he's a vampire.
yeah, and just all of a sudden just jump up and be 80 years old.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's old. I think Pokemon Origins, was that what it was called? The YouTube where it was like 3 to 5 minute episodes. Was it Origins? That was good. It like followed Red, the story of Red and Giovanni, and the fights in it were sick with like Charizard and Mega Charizard and like Mewtwo and stuff.
It was Gen 1 stuff, so you liked it, obviously.
There was some megas. There was megas and stuff in it too.
Oh.
But it was
You're right.
I mean it was the Gen 1 story, you know. Yeah. I'm a Gen 1er, Mason. I can't help it.
I know. Okay.
I'm gonna give the new show a shot though. We're gonna see.
Okay.
Oh, Generations, I guess is what it's called.
But with the show, they do start you out in Kanto, which is probably intentional.
There
Trying
we
to ease people
go.
into it.
Are they
See?
fighting like Rattatas and Pidgeys and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, now you're hype.
I'm
See?
right
That's all
at
it took.
home.
He's in.
I'm right at home. Are they
He's
gonna
in.
give Lika? Is that what her name is? Liko. Are they gonna give Liko a Charmander at some point so we could just ixnay the Sprigatito and
Okay.
Well, the other mentor sort of character has a Charizard, so
there
Of
we
course.
go.
Okay.
Let's
All right.
go. All right, I'm watching it for sure. All right, we got Peak.
This is-
Peak's
see, this is
joining
the
us.
problem. This is the problem with
Peak, what's up, man?
with all of it.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
You're in.
Nobody
We're
ever
just
gets a
talking
chance to
about-
breathe because we got to talk about Charizard every freaking episode, and
We gotta talk
nobody
about
else
how
gets
good
a
Gen 1
chance.
is.
They just keep hitting the well over and over and over.
Yeah.
Leon had a Charizard. Now this dude has a Charizard. Just give it a break.
It's because of the bomb.
I like had the stream going at the same time as you guys talking. That was really confusing from the delay. I was like, why is Mason have like 4 voices right now?
That souped up. Just
So
that.
Peak, the question happening right now is, what is your favorite Gen 9 Pokemon? The
What's your
newest
favorite
generation.
gen that has Charizard in it?
Every gen has Charizard.
Gen 9? No. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who's in Gen 9. If you ask me Pokemon past like Gen 2, probably gonna get confused. I'll be honest with you. Give me some examples. Who's in Gen 9?
Tinkaton, Miraidon, and
I'm
Koraidon,
gonna pass already. I have no idea. Who that
Ceruledge,
Pokemon
and Armorage. I think there's a bird Pokemon. There's like a bird that has like 7 different colors, and they're all different Pokemon for some reason. There's a couple mouse that have sex and have babies, and then they're a mousehold.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a flamingo.
I think I've seen the flamingo. When
Yeah.
you're talking about the mouse or the mice, it
It's
makes me
like
think
2
of,
mice that all of a sudden turn into 4 mice, and we're not supposed to think about why because it's a children's show.
It makes me think of like the Rat King, if you know that, like what that is.
The Rat King.
It's like when a bunch of mice like go at it basically, and all their tails get stuck together. And
Oh,
it's just this large conglomerate of mice that run around. So it's not the main thing I expected to talk about, but yeah, that's what a Rat King is.
interesting.
I learned something new.
Was
Apparently
not
it's in,
aware
like,
of the Rat
places,
King.
real sewer rats. Like apparently it's like a thing.
Wait, who said that Quaxley was his least favorite Gen 9 starter? Was that you, Peak?
That's everybody.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I like Quaxley. Come on, Quaxley.
I like Quaxley too, but I think he's probably my least favorite of the three. I like Sprigatito and then Fuecoco and then Quaxley probably. But only because of his final evolution. If his final evolution was better, I think Quaxley would probably be higher for me. But I'm not into like the dancer thing.
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
The one I don't
Better
really,
duck in the ear.
the one Pokemon I don't enjoy that I feel like kind of tries to get shoved at us is Bidoof. I don't know. I just don't. I don't care. I don't understand.
the
It's like they
god
try
of
to make
all
him like the
Pokemon,
next
Peak.
Pikachu. What is it?
He's the god of all Pokemon, Peak.
It's so
I feel like he's
confusing.
more of a meme.
Yeah, I don't know some
Yeah,
of that.
it's a meme, yeah.
I remember Pokemon pushing Bidoof like so hard for a certain amount. It's almost like they tried to get like another face, sort of like Pikachu. I mean, obviously Charizard is what Charizard is, but people think Pikachu, they're thinking Pokemon. So like I think they were trying to like make another one of those, and I just don't think anybody was like, yeah, this is I'm going all in on Bidoof. I'd go for Pikachu or someone similar. But that's the one that I don't. That's probably one of my least favorite. I think I mentioned it in chat earlier. It's like the key Pokemon.
Yeah,
Luke, I think you
Klefki.
might mention the actual name, but like when I saw that, I was like, I'm out on all new Pokemon. I have no idea what any of them are. It's just like took all the interest away from me.
Oh, we have a literal bag of trash Pokemon that people like for some reason. So, Trebush.
Mason, how are you, by the way? I haven't
Hi,
seen
Pete.
you in quite some time, or we haven't spoken in quite some time.
I know it's been a minute.
I enjoyed
Good to
your Discord rants today. Those were fun.
Well, I got to make sure people know my opinion because, I don't make appearances as much as I used to. So I got to put it out there. Make sure people know what's up.
So, Luke, I jumped back and looked at my question about the what you guys would want to be doing in collectibles if everything's on the table, and I loved your answer, as Mason said. So I'm curious, like, why? What about that is even remotely attractive to you? I feel like I've been on this island. I'm like, hey guys, VHS tapes, they're so cool.
Okay. All right. Oh.
Mason's gone. That's hilarious. We'll talk later. Mason, it's so strange to see with no beard picture of Mason, and then he comes back and it's like, hey guys.
Got the mutton chops.
Right.
No, but I don't know. I guess I've always loved movies. Obviously a big Star Wars fan. Remember going to Blockbuster a lot as a kid, going to pick something out for a Friday night watch. But so yeah, I guess just the artwork, the aesthetic of the VHS boxes, I think are cool. Might as well put them in plastic.
You know what's funny is they actually have people grade those Blockbuster rental faux tapes that they would put if you ever went to Blockbuster as a kid. Yeah, people actually like grade those, which is hilarious because it feels like that would be like a meme. But yeah, anyway, I would love for Mason to be a part of this still, so I will not take us down the rabbit hole.
You're fine. Yeah, I think VHS are pretty cool. Obviously, like I grew up with VHS. I don't think we ever did like Laserdisc or anything. We definitely didn't get into like Betamax or whatever it was at the time. Like we were pretty much VHS. So there's definitely he just pieced out. He's like, what? He's like, oh god,
one more chance.
Now Java's talking about VHS.
I love how it starts with just camera off and I mention it, and then when you start mentioning it, he's like, all right, this is.
He's like, I'm out of here.
He actually didn't even leave the stream. He just unplugged his Ethernet cord.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm. Oh, he's back. Hello.
I meant to unmute myself and then I exited. Sorry.
Probably ran you off.
We made some
No.
funny jokes.
It's
I
fine.
was like, when I mentioned it, that's camera off, and then when Java also mentions it, you're just like unplug the Ethernet
No,
cord.
no,
I'm
no.
out of here.
I didn't mean it like that. No.
We got Retro in the house. We got Pokémon in the house. How's it going?
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Pokey and E?
We got Navi Station. Some people that I haven't seen in here before, but I appreciate you.
Normally you're not up this late. Normally I'm surprised you're.
True. I've been
You're really
pushing
going
to
hard.
11 on these call-ins. Doing my best
Wow.
to go a little later because I know everyone else stays up late. So,
It's true.
Pokey and E had a really good video he put out recently, just since he's in chat, about the Patreon distributor pricing model. Did you guys watch that?
I did not. Are you talking about like Rudy and some of those other people that offer distribution through their Patreon? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
kind of the I mean, everyone should go watch it, obviously. But what was the was it I've never really thought about doing that. I'm sure it's probably I'm sure there's probably some that are beneficial that you get decent deals enough of a deal on to make it worth it. But I was in Rudy's for like a month and then I saw the prices were more than I could buy from on eBay and I was like, why am I in here then? I'm not just gonna support, if I'm in here for discounts and I'm not getting discounts, then I'm gonna leave. So I ended up leaving, but yeah, I mean, if you can actually somehow give distribution prices to people who want to buy from your Patreon, support you that way, then sure. But does that actually happen?
His main point was talking about, like, there's, I guess, people in Pokemon who do that as well, but they don't set limits for how much you can buy. And so he was talking about he's got people that will spend, like, on average, like 10 to 12K a month, on product from him, Pokemon. So he was saying that if he opens something like that, it's like, hey, you pay me, $50 a month. What is that, $700 a year? I don't even know. He would be cleaned out by these people, basically.
Yeah.
So he was talking about Rudy, but I think Rudy maybe has limits. It's like, hey, you can buy like a case or something at distributor pricing and whatever the newest set is. But it was a good, like, posing a question of, like, how do these people make money? Like, or like, say if they order 100 booster boxes of something and one guy comes in and buys it out, it's like, well, now he doesn't have any money to make because once you factor in shipping and all that, it's like you're basically break even at best.
Yeah.
And then what do you tell the other people who joined, like, if you don't have limits? So it was just talking about kind of I couldn't tell if the message, and he can maybe throw it in there, but, or you guys can watch the video and ask him, obviously. But I don't know if it was almost like, hey, bringing awareness to it. Like, if people are doing that, it's like, hey, have you really thought about, like, how sustainable this actually is if you were able to grow a legitimate audience in that and who supported you? Because not everybody's Rudy, who has friends and families moving entire warehouses, basically. But I just don't know. Yeah,
I guess it's probably really, well, it makes me think of, like, occasionally at the little store space that I have, people will make offers to the comic shop owner of, like, I'll buy everything here for 70% of, what he's asking or something like that. And he'll be like, no. And I always tell him, I'm like, I wouldn't take an offer like that. Even if someone bought everything at sticker maybe, but if they wanted some kind of discount, I probably wouldn't do it, because then what do I put up there? Like, my inventory is gone. Like, if you sell everything at a reasonable low price and you get completely wiped out, then your store's gone. Like,
So it's like in the boom where if stores sold things that not the market, that you don't have anything on the shelves. Huh.
Well,
what? That is crazy. What? That is. I'm sorry. So
he never forgets.
I mean, I just, validation is just very cathartic for me. But so Rudy does it because he's able to order more and then he's able to get things at lower prices. Same thing with, I think there's a couple people that do it. I know Rob at RNG Games does it. Pokemart USA has one, and he moves a lot of stuff. Both of them do, but yeah, it's just a way of being able to order a lot of stuff and then get everything as a whole, like lower and cheaper. Some of them, like Rudy, he does it to offset his cost, so he's basically into stuff for free. If he makes like 5-10% on something, cool. That means that after he sells so much, the rest of the stuff that he gets to sit on is basically free money. So that's the kind of like the idea behind it. It only works if you have those whales in there, because then you're able to build your allocations up to where you can negotiate that stuff. Yeah, if you're not buying pallets of every set release, this kind of falls apart. But
It's
Yeah,
basically like,
that was my thought. Is like, I mean,
yeah,
how do you plan an allocation if you are, and let's say if obviously you're not a Rudy, let's say you're just medium size, maybe small end. It's like, how do you plan an allocation order based on what you hope this amount of people and maybe your Patreon buy? Because I'm assuming not everybody in a Patreon is going to buy products. Like you would assume so, but yeah, that seems really complex and difficult to probably scale.
yeah, because then
I
what
feel
if
like
you have
that's
a bunch of
later in the
people?
game, but yeah.
What if you have a bunch of people then that sign on, and a majority percentage of the people who are in your Patreon aren't buying product? Then it's like, do you kick those people because you need people to buy product, or do
no,
you
that's
just
free money.
let more people in? Or
Yeah,
because Rudy's, there's like a limit, like he
Yeah.
cuts it off at a certain point and won't let anyone else join. But if like 60% of the people who signed up for his Patreon at however much a month it is weren't actually buying any product from him, then it's not really it's not really helping him much.
Yeah,
The amount that he would make off the product is probably more than the $30 a month or whatever to be in his Patreon or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I mean, they all function differently. They all have like different rules or whatever. Like there's caps and things that some of them do. But yeah, that's the general idea and why they can be successful is that you buy so much that you're able to negotiate overall prices down.
well,
But Pokemon in particular, you have to buy a lot, and even then, it's like a couple dollars, cheaper. So it's really like, it's really hard to get to that level. And then, hey, what if you have Shrouded Fable coming up and then nobody wants to buy it, even at wholesale? Then what? You're just in a hard place. I don't know. It's
I would imagine too, because I'm assuming, and Mason, you can obviously speak to this, but I would imagine that you're not just like, hey, I need this many booster boxes of this set. Like, I'm assuming through a distributor, you're probably going to have to take some tins. You're going to have to take like some blisters or whatever they want you to take. So it's like, if somebody's jumping into a Patreon to pay, let's say, I think the example is $50 a month. It's like, are they coming in there to buy tins at wholesale? And it's like, do you already have that like avenue ready to like liquidate that product? And whether you're online, I'm assuming most of this will be online, but yeah, I feel like there's just so many intricacies with planning that around like a Patreon membership. But I didn't realize there were that many Pokemon ones doing it. Even I think you named like 3 or 4. I'm actually surprised to hear there's that many, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do a lot like that. I mean, Safari Zone is basically a non Patreon thing, and they sell things just to make a couple dollars on cases. And it's just like, it's crazy. Yeah. And they move a lot of volume.
Pokénav does something like that as well. He does like a monthly membership thing. It's not necessarily a Patreon. I forget what he calls it exactly, but it's like some monthly membership to get close to wholesale or distributor pricing or whatever.
I don't know if he still does it, but he
does.
He posts
it all the time. He rebranded it, but he definitely it's the same model of how people pay monthly.
Yeah, he did it with like some shop owner a while ago. Then he discontinued it, and then I remember him saying on somebody's podcast that he was gonna get going again, but I haven't heard anything about it since then, I guess.
Yeah, he puts it on Instagram fairly regularly, like anytime some new sets coming out for pre-order or whatever it may be, like he's posting. I forget the brand name of it though. I I'm curious how that's going, because that's got to be difficult to like step away from that and then do it yourself, and like try and start it over if he truly like started over. But I mean, he's got a decent sized audience, so maybe he does well. But
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought about getting into that. Obviously, I don't have a distributor, so I wouldn't be able to get into that. But even if when you start out with distribution, aren't you basically like not shunned, but aren't you like you don't get very many options in terms of you don't get a whole lot of product that you can buy. You got to buy a bunch of junk to buy other stuff. Like you're not established like larger stores are when you first start out, right? Don't you have to kind of work at it?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Different distributors work differently. So like for Southern Hobby with me, like my Star Wars numbers, I was able to get so much because of my general all sealed product purchases in, I think it was quarter 2. So that's why I was able to get so many of like this next set that's coming out. But some places that doesn't matter. Everybody gets, based on their overall purchases or their everybody might get just the same, or like brick and mortars might get favoritism over just regular online stuff. Just kind of depends how they go about and with the rules. But most of the time it's based off of how much you buy. So yes, if you don't have brick and mortar, you got to take all the crap for sure. I think Brian has talked about his mountain of like battle academies and stuff that he's had to buy.
Yeah, he said I needed to spend like 1.5 mil before I could literally get whatever I wanted without the BS.
Yes, correct.
Holy moly.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though. Like, how many people are working with a distributor at this point? Like, especially during like the boom where it was like all these online stores. But I think I'm remembering correctly, like they originally like you could apply and like there was a lot of like, hey, if it makes financial sense, we'll do it. Then they changed the rules to where you had to have a brick and mortar. It's like, you know how many people I'm assuming like called them up and said, I want every booster box from this particular set you can give me, and didn't want anything else, or maybe they only spent like, I've got $3,000 whole dollars to spend this month, and they're like, no, you can't have this specific thing that you want only. Plus, I know that a lot of them cancel a lot of their orders whenever, obviously things started going back down after the boom. It's like they had these like planned financials, and they're like, no, never mind, we're not doing this anymore.
I mean, even my numbers have like I've never bought so little Pokemon product than I have for Shrouded Fable. Yeah, I'm not going to take a bunch of junk just to fluff my numbers.
Comet K says recently started getting allocation from Matt Al, and they actually granted me a few of my additional quantity requests on favorable product to my surprise.
Yeah, Matt Al's actually pretty good to work with for small folks. Be careful with that Alaskan shipping charges, though. For whatever reason, they have 2 warehouses, one here in Kentucky and one in Alaska.
That's so
I don't know why.
weird.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but
no, not at all.
They will send
They
steel product
ship
to Alaska,
international?
and then they will charge you shipping.
From Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Do they ship international? Like they have international contracts, or is it just all domestic?
I don't know.
Unless like the owner lived in Alaska and he's like, I want the home office right next to me. It's like that is literally like the farthest place you'd want to be.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. There's got to be some sort of money laundering or something going on. I don't know, but it's really weird.
That's all that's in Alaska is. It's just money laundering.
Yeah, it's oil money that is being laundered. Yes.
Navi Station asks, can you ask Mason if Shrouded Fable is short printed?
I don't know if they can print Shrouded Fable shortly. I think they printed probably too much of it, if you have to ask my opinion.
Yeah.
There was no cuts of any kind across any products other than bundles, but those bundles were always allocated. So
The 6-pack bundles.
yes, yeah, the little boxes. I think you're gonna have plenty of time to buy that if you want to buy it.
Yeah.
So no noticeable decrease, sounds like.
No, I would assume that there's a surplus if everybody was like me and did not order as much as they normally do.
That's why I'm so surprised that like it seems to be stores seem to be selling it for more than Shiny Treasure when that came out, but Shiny Paldean Fates, what was it called? That Paldean Fates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I could probably get some a few weeks after for cheaper. It'll probably go down after it comes out when people realize there's nothing in it.
You know what's interesting is I just and I may be super late to the game here. I've never had TikTok in my life, and I never wanted to ever. And then finally,
Coupons.
dude, I just saw some prices floating around. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like make a profile, I guess you could call it. Like, say you can't use any of my stuff, like decline everything, and then just search for stuff to shop for. I'm actually like, I feel like I've been missing out here. I don't know if you guys shop on there at all, but I was like shocked. I was like, how are they? Like, I bought a 151 Japanese booster box for $50 shipped. I was like, how? Why?
I don't know.
Like, I don't understand.
TikTok is my distributor.
The only
What is it?
thing. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
That's real.
I just said TikTok is my distributor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane, dude. I was going through products. I was like, I don't understand why I haven't been here for like the last however long they've been doing this. Because I'm like, how are any of these guys make? I mean, I get that their packs are always like $5, right? Like they're making a little bit, but I'm like, they're just eating like so much cost. Unless I don't know if TikTok has
TikTok must be fulfilling the coupon amount, I would assume, probably, because like they were doing it during the holidays too, and I was buying English booster box for like $70 some, like $68, because it was like 20% off coupons on $90 booster boxes, and it was like, okay, like $70, temporal forces to put up at the store to sell for $4.50 a pack. It's like, yeah, I'll do that. Like
Mason just went to go buy something. He was like, they're selling stuff
TikTok,
Yeah.
gotta go.
Or the Chinese government got him.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's crazy because I was like, I don't know, and I think somebody actually just Navi Station, he said, I just spent $400 on TikTok. Yeah, I had to like get off of it. I was like, dude, there's too much stuff I could just pick up from here, and I'm not even like a sealed product guy. I was just like, I started doing the math. I'm like, okay, packs are this. What's eBay? Close to the same, I guess. But once I bundle it with other stuff, I'm like, oh, well, now I'm saving like a few bucks here and there less. But like, instead of me just waiting for like maybe auctions or something, which on sealed product really didn't happen that often, I'm like, if I ever want to rip something, I'm just going to go there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe how much cheaper everything was. Even with somebody who doesn't pay tax on eBay, I was like, this is still less than what I can buy it for.
Yeah. Pokeani says list at 70, provide TikTok coupon for $20 off. Cost the buyer $50. TikTok sends the seller $20. So they subsidize the coupons.
That makes a lot more sense. So I'm assuming that's probably going to be a temporary thing for a certain amount of time.
They were doing it all holiday, the probably October through December. It was huge last year, and then they seem to have just been keeping doing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they stopped for a little while and then they picked it back up again. But yeah, I have coupons every time I go in there now again. So
I'm sure it's just a marketing expense for them, but it's a big one.
Well, I looked at I think I'm pronouncing it Rakuten. I never can pronounce it right. Like whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they had like 12% cash back on TikTok shop. So I was like, if you could like really stack some stuff and you wanted to like buy some stuff in volume. I mean, Lukey said it like perfectly. It's like TikTok's my distributor. It's like, dude, you could get like a really good solid amount of stuff once you factor all this stuff in. And not to mention like you get the cash back on credit cards as well. I mean, you're talking like, if you got a 25% coupon and you start stacking some stuff, you add another like 18% to that. It's like, whoa, like now we're talking like a really like lucrative thing if you can kind of plan it right, I guess. I don't know. I was just really taken aback.
We got some knowledge being dropped. Plan is to wipe out competition, I'm assuming. like me, then become a monopoly for collectibles, then start charging sellers way more in commission, stop coupons and take over. It's the Walmart formula when they build in small towns, discount at a loss, wait for competition to bankrupt, raise prices, be a monopoly. It's brilliant.
It makes sense, but it's also like, I don't know. The only other, I feel like eBay is like the hard thing. It's like, because when you go to sell, like, I don't know how many people, I don't know if either one of you do this, like sell on TikTok, but like, I would imagine like eBay is so much more, I don't want to call it passive because you're still able to do something, but just being able to list something and kind of just wait for it to sell. I mean, I guess you can do that on TikTok, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a very different experience with moving product, I guess, because a lot of the people or the shops I saw, like, they're doing lives also to auction stuff, and maybe that's to like, I don't know, be able to kind of supplement some of that. But if they raised like, the seller fees, I would just imagine people would just go back to eBay. But maybe that's their hope, is like if they just capture enough audience attention that it's like nobody will notice that, oh, the products aren't really that comparable price wise, to the other platforms.
He's back. At the computer now.
That is a good take though, Pokey and E. I like that comparison, the Walmart small town business model.
Yeah. I was listening while I was running over here. I think their seller fees are going up in, I think it's this month actually. Ooh.
I read 8% maybe, unless that number is just, I'm pulling that out of thin air, but I thought I saw 8% or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. And then I think it goes up again, maybe at the end of the year. I don't remember. It's been a while, but yeah.
So is 8% now, or is it going up to 8%?
I think they said in July. I don't remember what the date was.
I think it's going up to 8.
Yeah.
Based on chat. I like the takes, Pokey and E, by the way. These are good comments. This is very educational for someone who's very, very recently, within the last like 72 hours, like turned his eye and been like, what is TikTok? Yeah. And to be honest, it was like the most boomer moment ever, because it took me like 10 minutes to find the store icon. Like I didn't even know. I was like, I don't want to watch people doing whatever videos they're doing. I was like, where's the shop? So I was like using it as almost Google in the search bar. And as somebody like who's fairly tech savvy, I felt so lost. I was just out of it.
Yeah, I had a hard time finding the shop when I first opened it too. I was like, what the hell? Like I'm typing in Pokemon booster box and I'm just seeing people ripping booster boxes. Where the hell's the shop at? But yeah. Yep. It's all interesting. The hobby is constantly evolving.
Yeah, coupons are kind of wrecks the market, makes a big wake for every other platform.
Yeah, it makes me curious if any of them are going to attempt to compete with that model, because it's like, everybody took reels from them. So it's like, I wonder if they'll try and like do something like eBay coupons randomly, or like stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they want to fight the price battle though.
Yeah, like Hooky and he said, like they're backed by the Chinese government, so Instagram doesn't necessarily have that.
How do you guys?
Think eBay would probably be the one, like with eBay Live. Like it seems like there's a format already kind of there. Maybe there is on Instagram, and I'm just not aware of it. But I mean, I'm all for like competing for the lowest price if possible, but obviously I don't want to hurt the little guy too much.
Do you guys use Alt at all for pricing anything? Mason, do you ever have anyone come in and show you the Alt price for cards?
I have heard of that app, yes.
I apparently
filled with joy as you just responded to that.
Apparently it's pretty getting more popular because I think it's fairly easy to use. But one thing that it's basically an aggregate app that takes PWCC and eBay and auctions and buy it nows and all that stuff. And it's like the Rotten Tomatoes of last solds. It like aggregates all of it, and then it'll give you like a range basically of we think the price is between this range, and then it will give like a specific price like at any given time, and it could change like I think it changes like minute to minute. It's like real time. But I feel like there's a bit of an issue there, because I tend to look at like auctions and buy it nows very differently. Where I probably wouldn't comp an auction like at a show. If someone came up to me with a low auction sale, I'd be like, yeah, sorry, man. If you want to get that price, check out the next auction, I guess. Like, because auctions are specific, time frames. Buy it nows are just always up, and usually like niche Japanese, all that stuff that I usually work for or do things with tend to do better buy it now. But with an app that aggregates all of the auctions with the buy it now, and then people are buying or trying to buy or trying to sell based on that information, it just seems like you're not getting a very accurate, like you're probably on the whole, you're probably going to get a lower like comp coming out of that app than you would from, but it seems like I don't know if it's just, I think vendors use it to buy, which makes sense, because if you show someone like, oh yeah, it just sold for $60, or that's what alt says, and it's taking in all these low auctions essentially to generate that price, then if you buy at like 80% of an already low price, then you're probably doing very well for yourself. But as a vendor, if someone wanted to buy using alt, I'd be like, absolutely not. We'll take a look at like last buy it now prices. But yeah, I guess I was just curious if you guys had any experience with alt at all, because it seems to be getting more popular.
Yes, that is what it is used for currently.
Does
What
it
are your
aggregate
thoughts?
any,
Can you expand on that, Mason? You look like you're just fuming.
I'm assuming the vendors to buy at lower prices using alt as like a tool. Is that?
I've been asked by the Cabal to not go into more details.
This man plead the fifth. I've never used it. I think I've read about it, but maybe this is the first time I've really heard like what it actually does.
Gotcha.
I mean, it seems okay. I mean, I know that like it kind of reminds me of like pricing algorithms almost, because I think the way you described it, and I could be wrong here, but I mean, when you say it should be this, I don't know if it's taking just like the general and spitting out like kind of an average recommended price of what you should pay, or if it's saying that like, hey, here's the raw data that we're able to actually somehow quantify minute by minute and say this is exactly what the average is. Like, what is there? Do they even know what that is, or
it's basic? I don't exactly know, but it's basically an aggregate. It takes all the last solds off of PWCC, which doesn't make any sense to me either, because prices are going to vary from platform too. Like, I feel like we always see PWCC stuff sell lower than stuff that sells on eBay, usually because of the limitations to the platform for buyers. But so it takes sales there, auction sales there, it takes auction sales on eBay, it takes buy it now sales on eBay, and it puts them all together into like one price range, and then it will choose a price, like maybe an average or something of that range, somewhere in the middle. But yeah, it's probably great if you're buying from people. A great resource that you can show them and be like, oh well, this very specific app says that it should be that, so I'll buy for 80% of that.
well, it's interesting too, because it's almost like algorithmic pricing, which
Yes.
is a thing, and we'll probably start seeing like a lot more and more. I forget which grocery chain it was, but there was a grocery chain that was going to be launching this, and then they ended up like not, because the test markets like hated it, or the feedback or whatever was like awful. But basically what they were going to do is take the average amount that people spent like on groceries in particular areas. And so like basically the same grocery store would have like crazy different prices. So like if you were in a wealthier part of town, and so they would take like, I'll just use like a Whole Foods maybe as an example. Like you'll spend $10 on ketchup. It's like, you know, $2
Yeah.
over here. They would meet in the middle, and they had some sort of company that gave them the formula to do this and would basically spit out like a recommended price. This is what your consumers will pay. So that's kind of almost in that realm. Like it almost makes me think like, yeah, not that it's inevitable, but like I feel like we're going to start seeing that enter not just collectibles market, but something algorithmic pricing that people can just click and say, yeah, this is what I want.
That
Go
is
for
what
it.
the app does.
Yeah.
That is what the app does.
That is what the app does.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
It's like
I-
Wendy's. Wendy's did the same thing where they were like, "Oh, we're gonna have like demand pricing or whatever it is."
Surge
So
pricing.
like during lunch rush, their prices would be more than what it would be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, same thing.
So, Mason, am I going to be assassinated by the cabal if I make the video that I wanted to make about comparing the last? I was going to take my recent PSA return and compare the alt price with the average last 3 sold bin prices and compare how much lower the alt prices were going to be with them to warn people about using alt or accepting alt as like a comp. Am I going to
Yeah.
be assassinated for that?
Yeah, just know that I don't speak for the cabal. I only can interpret what they tell me, and
Okay.
then you know, give that out to the masses.
Gotcha.
I feel like the coverage of alt and how it may be beneficial or maybe its shortcomings could possibly be frowned upon, but there may be some gray area that you could squeak by and not have any bad implications.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I've never seen Mason hold back an opinion so hard in my life.
And all for a bit too. Like it's not even like it's just not even like but
You just slowly grab your tinfoil hat like out of the corner. And
So do we know who's making alt? Like the app?
probably. I'm sure you could probably find out. I mean, I don't.
I mean, is it a company? Is it like a person? Is it? I don't know.
I would imagine it's definitely a company for sure. I mean, with the AI boom and stuff like that, like it's machine learning. Like if you can get some sort of API into these and get that funneled into your stuff and then it does its magic, like you could kind of make it do what you want at that point. It's just like somebody was smart and got into it with collectibles because it's probably
Yeah.
a market that like the largest companies are not really, they're looking at grocery store chains. They're going to business and saying like, I'll make you an extra like $1 billion a year. And I mean, I don't know, is alt subscription based? Like, I'm curious how they even make money.
Well, they run auctions, it looks like.
Yes.
So it may just be an add-on service to their auction site potentially. I don't know.
But they don't sell it. You can download it and go from there.
Yeah, you can see you just sign in and can start seeing prices. You basically create a collection of the cards that you have, and then you can view your collection, and it'll show like all the prices, the market price, and it'll be consistently updating, like basically real time. It looks like
It's so
it's
interesting. I would imagine they're probably either selling data or trying to get purchased with their user base, which is not a bad strategy. So if you're not paying for it, you're the product. That old fun line. That's interesting. I didn't know there was a company that was doing that already. That's cool.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. Especially on the sports side, they have a lot more stuff than what they have for like, TCGs. But like you can look up a player and see if they're up or down trending, stuff like that. It's pretty neat.
Is that what Card Ladder does?
Probably. I'm unfamiliar.
I think that's the one that's included with the I think it was or is included with the PSA Collectors Club. So I remember looking into it. They had some sort of card ladder credit or something, but kind of similar price tracking, percentages, charts, all that. All
I
that
always
fun
wonder
stuff.
how they calculate that stuff because I feel like maybe it was Alter, it was a different website where it was like, oh no, it's PWCC, and it was like view best deals or whatever, and it's like, well, best deals compared to what? Like last sold where? Probably PWCC. I would assume they're taking their data and no other like other sales datas, and then it's like best value. So it's like, so you're telling me as the person selling the card that you think that this card is undervalued and I should bid and buy this? That's what we're going with. I'm supposed to trust this little filter here to get a good deal. Like it just seems weird to me.
Just sort by low traffic. It's basically the same thing. I remember they had something that was like eye appeal at one point,
Oh,
and I could never understand what that was.
Yeah.
When I was actually using PWCC quite a bit, I think a couple of years ago. I
Hmm.
remember eye appeal was something I could filter by, and I clicked it, and things weren't shinier. So I was so confused. I was like, why even have this? Like, who is looking for like, you know what? I don't know what I'm looking for, but I want something with some eye appeal. They just like filter and go by off of that. I don't know.
Well, I'm probably gonna have to wrap it up, but I do have one more question for Mason. Actually, since
Oh,
we
me?
have him
Why?
here.
I mean, okay.
Do you do people come to you with GameStop prices now that GameStop will take
Oh,
cards
yeah.
for trade-ins and stuff?
Um,
What has that been for your store after GameStop started doing that?
yeah, I mean, it definitely is impressive how GameStop has come out this basically as like a cold offering and have been pretty well received. You know, people seem to be pretty happy with it, uh, and what they offer and things like that. It's it will be probably eventually, you know, a standardized thing for. I don't know if other places will do it. You know, I don't know if Best Buy is going to be like buying slabs anytime soon, but it is interesting that they found another thing, another secondary item to make better margins on. Because yes, absolutely, you can't exist only selling new products. And as video games get more digital, and you get less of those traded in, yeah, you have to have something else to make better margins. And slabbed stuff, it's consistent, it's objective to an extent. You know, it's popular enough now where there's a standardized price for things, or at least trendable pricing that they can make intelligent decisions off of. I think they had all the infrastructure to do this as it was because they had done it for so long with other things. So I think it makes a lot of sense. It definitely is going to do a good thing just for general casuals getting in and saying like, what the hell? Why do they have these Pokemon cards in these pieces of plastic? What's the deal there? I think we're going to see it is a general plus to the hobby. I think a national chain doing this and showing interest and saying yes. It is GameStop, so let's not give it too much credit. But it is a multi-million-dollar company going, yeah, this is a place that we need to focus our attention because there are margins to be made. I think that's a general good thing and a good thing for getting people into it, and also, you know, like so many places, giving an alternative to buying and selling somewhere. I think it's all a plus. It is a plus for sure. I have not had anybody say, "Hey, GameStop is offering me this much for a slab. Will you pay me more?" I've not had that yet, but it's probably coming. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, Mason, and I won't go crazy on a tangent or anything, Java. I just want to make one comment on
Yeah, no,
GameStop.
you're good.
I went to their websites, they were doing like the buy one get one 40% off. I was like, I wonder if they do that with slabs, which they don't. That was just more of a hope of like maybe they don't know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I
Not-
actually looked at
Not
that.
yet. We'll see how well this does for them. But
That's one thing is because I typed in like PSA 10 Pokemon, like slab or whatever.
Yeah.
And sorted by highest to lowest. And one of the like third or fourth most expensive Pokemon cards they had on there was a PSA 10 Master Ball Pidgeot for like $700. I was like, and I started scrolling and I was like, oh wow, they've got a lot of things like that.
Like way
Like, and
overpriced.
I was just like, what? I was like, there's no way this is like real.
Yeah.
And it was insane. Like I just don't know if they maybe that's where the buy one 40 you get 40% off $700 on a card that realistically is like $40, I think, when I looked it up in a 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one thing I found interesting. So whoever's doing their pricing either is like to the moon, let's go, or they don't know like what it is. So they're just punching a bunch of like numbers and things. They don't want to sell too many of them at a market price that they're not confident in. I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, or they're starting high and seeing what casuals are willing to pay, and then as things sit, they'll lower it down to see what works.
It will be interesting. Mason, I guess this is another question is like, how do you keep up with prices that are constantly changing? Like, I had a Greninja in the store the other day, one of the SIRs. I didn't know that card was $250. I had it in the store for $140 for probably a month. And
Wow.
nobody bought it. Thankfully, I went and grabbed it, and now I'm going to sell it for $250. Hopefully
Sure.
at Collecticon. But how do you keep up with like prices constantly changing and updating stuff?
Well,
He uses Alt. No, I'm just kidding.
right. Is this app you can go download? No. Once you have, if GameStop has so many stores and so much of their own data they can use themselves, they become their own aggregate. They become their own way of tracking sales. If a card for a certain price is selling in Florida for a different price than it is in California, they can allocate and move those things to the places that are going to be more likely to buy them. They become their own kind of way of sourcing and figuring out pricing. And they have done that with video games for years and years. So they have the infrastructure to do that. They are in them themselves, like an auction company or anything else, but they have all that stuff in-house. So they have a genuine leg up on people when it comes to figuring out what prices work where, based off their demographics, where their stores are, all that information they have from closing down all these stores. I'm sure they have all that information about economic information about their buyers and people coming in and all that stuff. So they have all the information that they need. It's
Well,
in
how
the next.
do you do it?
How do
At
I
your
do it?
store? Yeah, at your source. How do you stay up to date?
I automate it with TCG Player and pull their data. But I mean, yeah.
But do you have to like constantly resticker things, or do you not have anything priced and people come up to you like with a card? Or
Oh, you're like asking like how should you do it?
well, I'm just curious how you do it. Like if
Yeah.
if you have like a case of singles or whatever and something jumps like $50, and you didn't catch it, like
Yeah.
that could happen in a day or two.
Definitely.
With how
It has
Pokemon-
happened for sure.
Yeah. So are you constantly like checking stuff? Is there like some sort of automated thing that goes green when it jumps up a certain amount and you have to go like slap a new price sticker on it, or what? How do you keep track of your prices and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, because we have everything on a TCG Player, we have it automated, and we run pricing updates every day. Have we sold things for way too cheap because a card spiked $50 in a day? Yes, but you still made your margins, so it's kind of like whatever. I choose the faster sale versus maximizing every single card I sell. So
Yeah,
that's the.
I do the opposite right now, but I probably should do
That's
that.
good. No, what you're doing is good. If you have a limited, you don't have endless amounts of cards, so you should maximize what you get for every single one,
Yeah.
as best you can.
He's got to
You're
keep the
doing-
top 5 videos. He's got to keep the content coming. Top 5 clips of the month.
That's right.
I'm
Those are good.
glad you're. I'm glad people are liking those because it's way easier for me to do those than to do the entire sheet. I used to do the entire every single sale, every single breakdown. That was so annoying to have to go
Yeah.
through and edit that. So I
I'm
like.
not even joking. I probably went through like 10 plus of those videos. I just kept watching them back to back to back because I just enjoyed like the breakdown of everything. And you especially adding in like, I don't know if you did this in the most recent ones, but talking about how long it took to sell like was such a helpful thing to hear. Because it's like I got a 400% margin on this card, but it took a year and I made X amount only. It's like, what could I have done in
Yeah.
that 11 months, or whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
No, those are awesome, dude. I so enjoyed those. That's some of my favorite stuff that I've seen on your channel.
Appreciate it, man. All right, guys. I want to wrap it up. I appreciate everyone hopping in. Luke, definitely everyone subscribe to all these people. CNA Games, Mason, if you don't know him.
Spicy Mayo on YouTube.
Yeah. Actually, don't do that because I don't know who that is. So let's not advocate for a random person.
I'm not
But
dangerous. Type it on
yeah,
YouTube.
true.
Subscribe to Peak. He's done some awesome interviews with a bunch of interesting people in the hobby, and Luke obviously making some awesome vending and all sorts of amazing content, or convention, I should say, not vending specifically, but yeah, pretty much everything. Luke does everything.
Yeah,
if you
I'm
like
excited
my
to
channel,
see
you'll
how his
like all
Whatnot
these
does.
guys. So
Yeah.
Go
appreciate you
follow
guys.
his Whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm excited to see how Whatnot goes. I'm interested to see it organically grow for somebody.
Yeah,
It's
check
really
them
nice.
out on Whatnot.
Luke,
We'll
can we
see.
see you in a
Appreciate it.
Whatnot ad soon? Because I feel like they've ramped that up like quite a bit. You would be like the perfect face and voice for that.
They asked me one time, but it was a little bit before Blake's breaks happened, so I kind of glad I didn't push that at the time. So
Yeah. You never know when something like that's going to pop up, unfortunately. But
They may need a new face of
oh god,
He just-
his cat turned off the
TCG.
computer.
I don't know, maybe.
Oh no, wait, is he
What a
back? Okay,
fantastic.
he's back.
You go, Mason. I don't know if you know you froze, but you're like, we just need a new face.
Oh,
Just-
yeah. Sorry.
New face of Whatnot.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys hopping in. We'll talk to you hopefully in a couple weeks. I'll be doing another one of these. Hopefully you guys will jump on again.
thanks, Java.
Cool.
Appreciate you having us on, man. Bye, chat.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.